Good evening. It is 5 p.m. and it is my pleasure to call this meeting of the Ventura County Community College District Board of Trustees to order. Before we proceed, I have a opening statement to make about this evening's Board of Trustees meeting. This September 9, 2025 special meeting is being held in place of a regular meeting, as the regular meeting agenda was inadvertently not posted to the district website within the 72-hour framework required under the Brown Act. All right, trustees, we have under item 1.1, we have our board rules and board vision. If there's any comments to those, if not, we will seek the chancellor's recommendation of the agenda.
Recommended as presented. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Lichtel.
Yes, sir.
I have a question regarding the proper notice on item 1.3.
Go ahead.
Okay, item 1.3 requires that the California Code of Regulations requires that proper notice be published 3 days prior to the publication of the proposed budget, which was published on September 3rd. The notification that was published in the Ventura County Star was published on September 2nd. So the question is to Mr. Sanchez is, are we within the required 3 days notice on that's required by the Code of Regulations?
Yeah, we ran that down and definitely confirmed that the fact that it was published in the publication, that is one of we did satisfy the requirements, and I believe, did you want to add some more information to that? I think we're good. Okay.
I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
we followed the proper process.
Thank you for that, Trustee Pachowski. At this time and place designated for the public hearing to open and public comment period on the fiscal year 2025-26 adoption budget.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
I declare the hearing is now open.
Don't we need to approve the agenda first?
That is not on my, it's not on
As
my.
part of the recommendation of the agenda from the chancellor?
Do we always
He recommended, but don't
do
we have to
always
approve?
the agenda? Yeah, I don't recall ever voting on approving the agenda.
Okay.
So again, this is the time and place designated for the public hearing to open the public comment period of the fiscal year 25-26 adoption budget. I declare the public hearing is now open.
Thank you. This public hearing was noticed in the local paper as well as posted in the district lobby and website.
Does anyone present have any comments on the proposed adoption? If so, please state your name and address prior to making any comments. Did we get any public comments on that item on the budget? Hearing none, are there any written comments or requests for further public hearing on file? After hearing no public comments, I declare the public hearing on the fiscal year 2025-26 adoption budget closed. With that, I will ask for any changes to the agenda as well as any consent items that are to be pulled for this evening's meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Pachowski.
item 8.2, 9.1, 10.1, and 10.2.
Any other trustees have any items to pull?
I have a couple, but I know Chair Torres isn't here, but I thought we were going to go back and look at sort of the minutes, because I thought we came to a consensus that we were going to ask to pull things.
There was a change to the agenda. Ms. Costello, can you review that for us, or would staff review that for us? Is that what you're referring to?
No, just the practice itself of pulling consent items. Remember,
Yeah.
we had a discussion as a board, and in lieu that our student trustee is not here, we are not able to hear from the public. So there could be a public comment that makes us go, gosh, I'd like some further information and ask some questions. So I thought we came to an agreement that we were going to pull items from the consent calendar when we come back from, so the public, we have an opportunity to hear from the public and our student trustees.
Well, it's on the agenda under 1.4, and so I'm following that agenda. If we want to, when we reconvene, ask the question again, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, I appreciate it. So I may have some others, but as of now, I have 7.1, 8.3, and 9.1,
Which was also pulled by trustee Pachowski,
and 10.2.
also pulled by trustee Pachowski.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, very good. Okay, so that brings us to our next item. And good afternoon. Before we hear general public comment on the closed session agenda, we are going to hear comments on the specific closed session item, employee appeal from administrative determination pursuant to Title V, Section 59338. The board properly placed this item on the closed session agenda to hear an appeal regarding an employee complaint against President Laredo Habib. Pursuant to the Brown Act and Government Code Section 54957, the board must give the respondent notice that this matter had been placed on the closed session agenda and an opportunity to request that the matter instead be heard in open session. I have been informed that President Laredo Habib is requesting that the matter be heard in open session. Therefore, the matter will be heard at this time. Before we begin, I will take a few moments to explain the process that we will use to hear this matter in open session. This is not evidentiary hearing. And first, the chancellor or his designee will read the summary of the administrative determination, followed by any clarifying questions from the board, which will be directed to staff only. Any members of the public, including any interested party in this appeal who wish to speak on this matter, may then speak, subject to the board's procedures for public comment. That will conclude the board's consideration of this matter. After public comment on this item, the board will open public comment on any other closed session items as indicated on the agenda, and we have those requests from the public. The board will then adjourn to closed session and will deliberate on the appeal in closed session only. The requirement that the board hear complaints or charges in open session does not require it to deliberate in open session, and therefore, board members, if you have questions, you will direct those to staff only. Here, the board is considering an appeal of the findings of the complaint made by a district employee. Discussion and action on the appeal will occur in closed session, and final action of the board will be reported out when the board reconvenes in open session. We will now begin. Chancellor McClellan. McLennan.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Associate Vice Chancellor Andrea Barrera Engley to read the document.
Summary of administrative determination for open session.
Can I get you to speak closer to the mic? Thank you.
Summary of administrative determination for open session. A district employee from the EOPS department filed a complaint against President Laredo Habib, alleging President Laredo Habib discriminated against the EOPS employee and other EOPS employees based on their race or national origin. The district investigated the allegations. The allegations were not sustained, and the district communicated those findings to the parties. The complainant appealed the district's administrative determination. The following is a summary of the district's determination based on the investigation. Allegation 1, whether President Laredo Habib treated complainant or any member of the EOPS department differently based on their race or national origin from December 2024 to the present. Finding, not sustained. Complainant alleged President Laredo Habib treated complainant and the EOPS staff in a rude, disparaging, dismissive, and generally hostile manner based on their race or national origin. Complainant stated that the EOPS staff are primarily of Mexican descent and are treated differently than other coordinators and programs. Complainant compared the treatment to that of the EAC coordinator, who is not of Mexican descent. The investigator interviewed 4 employees from the EOPS department. Of the 4 witnesses, 2 recall discussing their own Mexican ancestry with President Laredo Habib, and they were not aware of anyone else having done so. In fall 2024, President Ludido Habib conducted an unscheduled office walkthrough. Complainant was not in the office at the time. During the walkthrough, President Ludido Habib asked questions about the sliding door, which did not appear to work. The two office assistants confirmed it was inoperable and expressed they preferred it remain inoperable because when it operates, the sensor is easily triggered by the wind, causing the office to get cold and staff members to get sick. President Ludido Habib responded with potential solutions to the concerns expressed by the staff, but the staff insisted they preferred that a different door was made accessible. Based on this interaction, one office assistant reported to complainant that President Ludido Habib's tone was rude and dismissive, while the other felt disregarded and not listened to by her. President Ludido Habib also inquired about planners she found on the counter and asked whether the EOPS department had a calendar for events for the year. The staff expressed they were taken aback by President Ludido Habib's questions and actions, but the investigator found that President Ludido Habib's visit to the EOPS department was part of her campus walkthrough and was not an isolated visit. President Ludido Habib and the witnesses denied any discussion related to race or national origin occurred during the visit. After complainant learned of the walkthrough and interactions, complainant sent President Ludido Habib an email about the impact of her interactions with the EOPS staff. President Ludido Habib responded by scheduling a meeting with the department to get to know each other better and avoid assumptions. Complainant also referenced the interactions that occurred on December 2nd, 2024, when President Ludido Habib attended an EOPS staff meeting. It is undisputed that President Ludido Habib began the meeting in a friendly tone. During the meeting, complainant interrupted a staff member while they were speaking, prompting President Ludido Habib to shush the complainant. All but one EOPS staff member reported being shocked by President Ludido Habib's shushing of the complainant. Witnesses expressed that complainant's interruption was a normal dynamic. Complainant explained they interrupted for the purpose of getting the staff member to elaborate on their accomplishments. All but one staff member said they did not perceive complainant's interruption as rude. During the meeting, staff discussed program staffing needs. President Ludido Habib and complainant disagreed regarding the staffing needs of the EOPS program. Some comments that were exchanged were described as rude and dismissive. However, other witnesses described the exchange and argument understandable. The witnesses and the parties reported there was no reference or discussion about race or national origin. The investigator determined that President Ludido Habib's comments during the walkthrough were not based on race or national origin. Staff member confirmed they did not observe any outward or objective indication that President Ludido Habib's demeanor was motivated by race or national origin, nor did they clearly attribute such intent to her. The investigator determined that staffing approval disagreements are objectively business-related topics and not connected to an individual job candidate or their race or national origin. Complainant acknowledged that they had not observed or have any firsthand information about how President Ludido Habib engaged in the EAC with the EAC coordinator or other departments. None of the witnesses had any information regarding whether she interacted with EOPS staff differently because of their race, ancestry, or national origin. The investigator determined this allegation was inherently speculative. Complainant alleged that during an event in April 2025, President Ludido Habib did not direct her comments toward the side of the room where complainant was seated. Complainant acknowledged being one individual among several employees spread across 3 to 6 tables in that area. The investigator determined it was speculative to conclude that President Ludido Habib deliberately ignored that section of the room to target complainant based on complainant's race or national origin. Allegation 2, whether President Ludido Habib excluded EOPS event photos from her president's report to the Board of Trustees on or around November 2024 based on race or national origin. Finding, unfounded. Complainant alleged that President Ludido Habib did not include any of the photos sent to her, which she requested for the November 2024 President's Report of the Board of Trustees. Complainant perceived President Ludido Habib's failure to include the photos as hostile and discriminatory against the complainant and the EOPS staff. Complainant also reported that President Ludido Habib did not recognize the EOPS staff or department during her oral report to the Board of Trustees, despite November being designated as EOPS month. The investigator objectively reviewed the President's November 2024 board report and found it contained the same level of information for all programs. In review of the photos included, President Lurido Habib said she did not select the photos to be included in the report as she assigned the task to her executive assistant. The investigator reviewed the report and found it only featured CalWorks event photographs. The investigator reviewed the CalWorks website and found the coordinator counselor identifies as Chicana, and the CalWorks student population is noted to be 70.4% Hispanic. The investigator determined it was not plausible that President Lurido Habib would intentionally exclude EOPS photographs based on Mexican heritage, but include photographs highlighting CalWorks, whose coordinator also appears to identify as being of Mexican descent. The report referred to all categorical program staff collectively and did not identify, thank, recognize, or praise any individual staff member. Allegation 3, whether President Lurido Habib singled out the EOPS department by following up directly with the dean regarding the EOPS department's non-response to the all-college retreat based on race or national origin. Finding, unfounded. Complainant alleged that President Lurido Habib's follow-up email on February 11, 2025 to the EOPS staff requesting their response to the all-college retreat was unnecessary and unusual because President Lurido Habib copied the department dean regarding a lack of RSVPs. Complainant stated that this was further evidenced that President Lurido Habib was treating the EOPS department differently than other departments because of race or national origin. Complainant described the email as snarky. Another EOPS staff member stated they were offended by President Lurido Habib's reference to EOPS serving 3% of students. President Lurido Habib reported and a witness corroborated that during the December EOPS meeting, they were invited to the all-college retreat and encouraged to participate more actively in campus activities. President Lurido Habib copied the department dean on her follow-up email to ensure the dean was informed of her communications with employees under the dean's supervision. The day after sending that email to EOPS staff, she also sent an email to the chancellor and vice chancellors requesting that they RSVP regardless of if they could attend. President Lurido Habib explained she sent 400 invitations and had only received 40 RSVPs and sent follow-up emails to ensure she ordered enough food for the event. The investigator determined the message contained no direct or indirect reference to race or national origin. The investigator found it reasonable and foreseeable that with about 40 RSVPs from approximately 400 invitations, President Lurido Habib would continue to seek RSVPs for the all-campus retreat given the event's logistical considerations such as the amount of food required for the attendees. This concludes the summary of the administrative determinations and the district's findings.
Thank you so much. Do any trustees have clarifying questions for district staff? Seeing no questions, we will now hear public comment on this matter before adjourning to closed session. We will start with Beatriz Herrera, followed by Paula Munoz, and lastly, Dr. Laredo Habib. You will each have 3 minutes. I don't have an issue with that. Of course. Again, you'll have 3 minutes, Mrs. Munoz.
It's good? Okay. Good evening, board members and Chancellor. I'm here to appeal the district investigators' findings and that Dr. Claudia Laredo Habib, Ventura College president, did not discriminate nor treated the UPS department differently than other departments because of race, national origin. I believe you all have received a copy of the investigations, closure, and administrative determination. Now, according to the investigator, the discrimination threshold was not met. However, based on all of the situations and events that I described, there was some discrimination happening and manifested itself in the hostile work environment for EOPS. Early last fall semester, President Laredo Habib dropped by the EOPS office unannounced twice that fall semester. I was not present. She proceeded to criticize and make negative comments about the EOPS stores and the building. The EOPS classified staff attempted to explain the door issue. However, they reported feeling unseen, unheard, not valued, and disrespected. The president attended our EOPS staff department meeting in December of 2024. She brought cookies to our meeting and a folder with her materials. I was hopeful that we would have a positive meeting with positive outcomes. Unfortunately, that did not happen. She did not hear me nor agree with our EOPS program student needs. A third full-time EOPS counselor is what we needed and a 50% outreach position. She also made an inappropriate ageist discriminatory remark to one of our counselors that perhaps it was probably time for that person to retire. The meeting ending, and as she left, she took back her cookies. Fast forward, and now after a year of back and forth emails, EOPS is finally in the beginning stage of hiring the needed third EOPS counselor that we have been requesting for more than a year. We are also on the verge of hiring an outreach position. I have stated to the president that the president's public persona stated that the president's public persona is very different from the non-public persona. It should not have been so difficult to get approval and move forward with these two EOPS positions. In the meantime, our EOPS student numbers have radically dropped. An administrator recently commented that our numbers are too low. Really? And yes, we know that our EOPS students have been negatively impacted. The reasons and excuses made by the president in the holdup of these positions has been irrational and make no sense. I do believe that the VC College president has treated myself and the EOPS department differently. The investigation of our claims relied on the president's opinion and another academic administrator to support her defense. I maintain that the VC president has negatively impacted EOPS and more importantly, our EOPS students. I believe EOPS was treated differently.
Thank you, Ms. Munoz.
For the hostile work.
We will now hear from Beatrice Herrera.
Good
You'll
evening.
have
I
3
have two
minutes.
public comments, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
This one is-
you'll have one now
Okay.
on this item, and then you'll have one later during the public comments before closed session.
Thank you for that clarification,
Of
trustee.
course.
Good evening. My name is B. Herrera. I'm here on behalf of AFT Local 1828. I am the grievance chair. We have supported various faculty to different issues addressing mismanagement at Ventura College. One of the aspects that continue to come up continuously is the inappropriate, possibly illegal comments the president has made about people of a certain age. In the most recent program review meeting, she stated full-time faculty will not be replaced until we have retirees who cost a lot more money than if we hire new people. This was in front of many dozens of faculty. So we believe that the threshold was not met at the legal level to establish a hostile work environment based on ethnicity, but there's something wrong with this situation. And I really would implore you to look at all the facts to see what can change at Ventura College. EOPS has been impacted, but many other programs will be suffering because no one will be replaced until an expensive senior faculty retires and hire a new person, and this is her words, that costs a lot less. To me, that is outrageous. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herrera. And now we'll hear from Dr. Laredo Habib. You'll have 3 minutes.
Claudia Laurido Habib, President at Ventura College. Good evening, trustees. I want to begin by stating the outcome of the administrative determination. The district independent investigation concluded that the allegations against me were not sustained. The investigator found no evidence that I discriminated against Ms. Munoz or the EOPS department based on race or national origin. There is a well-known culture at Ventura College in which a small group of faculty had made it a point of pride to target and push out administrators through relentless personal attacks, gaslighting, and false accusations. This cycle is toxic. I have been experiencing this firsthand through persistent mischaracterizations of my words and directives, through grievances rooted in falsehoods, and through public resolutions advanced without evidence, all designed to distort and defame rather than to seek truth or constructive dialogue. I have been accused of coercion, discrimination, and ineptitude. Most concerning, Ms. Munoz alleged that I may hold classist views or disdain for EOPS staff because of the Mexican heritage, based solely on her perception of my wealthy background. The fact that I am Colombian was for her enough to assert that I would mistreat people of Mexican descent. From the very start of my tenure, I have been subjected to her toxic behavior and intimidation campaigns. Within days of my arrival, I met with Ms. Munoz off campus at her request. At that meeting, she disparaged every administrator at BC, boasted about campaigning against the college bond to sabotage leadership, and proudly recounted the administrator and a trustee she claimed to have pushed out. She also named the trustees she considers personal allies. She told me that every time she thinks of retiring, she finds a new project. She has made it clear I am her new project. This pattern is not unique to me. Many faculty and managers have reported or confided their own negative experiences and deep regrets about joining VC. These stories are known across the district and beyond. I asked the board to recognize both the outcome of this investigation and the pattern it represents. I asked for accountability so that no other administrator is forced to endure what I and others have faced, so we can remain focused on student outcomes. I am speaking publicly because my silence, your silence, and the silence of many others have helped perpetuate this behavior. And I want to make clear, I will let you know if this begins to threaten my personal safety. Thank you.
Thank you to our three speakers. Having heard all public comment on this closed session matter, no further public comments will be taken. The board will deliberate on this matter in closed session at the time reserved for further closed session on the agenda. At this time, we will hear public comments on other items prior to our closed session, starting with Ty Gardner, followed by Beatrice Herrera, and finally Teresa Bonham.
All right. Hi, I'm Ty Gardner. You may remember me from such public comments as lab instructors deserve fair pay and resolution of no confidence in the Ventura College Dean of Science. The resolution of no confidence presented here last month included a request for a district response. We did not receive one. It seems that communication isn't a district value. Do better. Interactive college and district communication is rare, and when attempted, seems intentionally unavailable. Take, for example, the recent announcement, Coffee with the Chancellor, an informal gathering to discuss general updates, ask questions, and share ideas, scheduled at 9:30 a.m. on a Monday, a time when many faculty are in class, particularly those from the sciences who teach 3-hour labs. Such events are regularly scheduled when faculty who teach in person are unavailable. Is this intentional? Are we voices you don't want to hear? But you also rarely respond to emails. So here I am again, speaking to you in a forum where you can't respond, knowing you won't take time to explain how you might address such problems or share that you understand our concerns and the damage being done. Consult your legal counsel, Joey Sanchez, he's here, if needed, to determine what you can and cannot say. But say something. Ventura College is about to turn 100. It doesn't need landscaping or fancy luncheons. It needs leadership and day-to-day management. Do better. Do something. Our dysfunction is impacting students, faculty, and in case you only care about dollars, our enrollment. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Beatrice Herrera.
Good evening, trustees, chancellor, and executive cabinet. My name is Bea, and I'm here to present to you on behalf of AFT Local 1828. Before you, we have provided you a document that documents the contract and labor issues plaguing Ventura College. I would like you to please consider reviewing that as soon as possible. These issues continue to arise and persist during the current college president's tenure. To AFT, it appears this college president chooses to be unengaged, to provide no follow-through, and not hold herself or other of her managers accountable for these labor issues and contract violations. I am glad to hear that the chancellor now will be becoming involved, as I received an email from him last week saying he will be. So hopefully we will see some changes. There's been no official formal grievances filed since July 2024. So the president at Ventura College who stated there was grievances, that is inaccurate. There's no formal grievances filed on AFT's behalf. The few examples that you have in front of you documents strictly CBA items, not necessarily the multiple examples of bad management. That list is too extensive. To give you an example of the document you have, we have a dean who has violated the contract by allowing multiple full-time faculty to work beyond the 0.55 without following the CBA established process. It has happened more than once. A dean refusing to meet with a faculty member because the faculty member requests a representative to be a union representative that is there to support the faculty. They're saying, I'm not going to meet with you because you have a union rep. I want my own rep. How is that not anti-union? Deans that do not follow the established evaluation procedures repeatedly are being observed to violate the process. Not assigning full-time and part-time hourly assignments per the CBA established process. We have faculty being forced to work in unsafe lab conditions despite multiple pleas for help to address these issues. AFT is considering involving OSHA at this point since no immediate resolution is forthcoming. We kindly request that you as the board, please direct the chancellor to be more directive to address these concerns with the Ventura College president. This is the worst mismanaged anti-union climate campus that I have ever witnessed. It is unacceptable and harmful to the reputation of this district. The document that you have has specific examples with verifiable documentation and evidence that we can provide at any time. Next time, we will start naming those deans. This has gotten to the point, it is unacceptable and we need immediate relief. Please help us. Help us.
And lastly, we'll hear from Teresa Bonham.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Bonham. I'm president of AFT Local 1828, and I have 3 specific comments. First, please instruct the district's team to settle the compressed calendar negotiation in mediation with a fair and equitable contract. Second, AFT objects to item 13.3, the abolishment of a director of fiscal services position and the establishment of an associate vice chancellor financial services position at the district administrative center. AFT objects to adding another top manager in the financial area under consent. AFT does not understand why the district has the funding for this management position, but not enough funding to hire more faculty. Third, I meet monthly with each of the college presidents and I bring forward issues. There have been several ongoing issues at Ventura College, which the president of Ventura College has been made aware of since the fall of 24. When I brought these issues forward, the response I have received has been faculty cannot manage the managers. Faculty are not trying to manage the managers. Rather, faculty want managers who show up, who honor and uphold the CBA. For managers to meet with faculty who bring an AFT representative without demanding their own representative also attend. And for managers not to make comments that could be perceived as anti-union. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, the board will adjourn to a closed session with the goal of coming back to open session at 6:30 p.m. Thank you. Evening. At this time, the board is reconvening from our closed session, and I hereby open our open session. It is my honor to chair this meeting today in the absence of our chair, Trustee Torres. So with that, if you would all rise, if you're able to, and if it's appropriate, I'd like to ask our counsel, Joey, to lead us in the pledge. You can do it from right there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so the board is reporting back from closed session during which time the following items were discussed. And I'm going to provide the following report on item 2.1, public employee discipline dismissal release. The board voted to approve moving forward with imposing disciplinary action on a permanent classified employee with 4 votes in favor and with trustee Torres absent. The motion was made by trustee Mantooth and seconded by trustee Pachowski. Under item 2.2, employee appeal from administrative determination, the board voted to deny the complainant's appeal of the district's administrative determination and therefore affirm the determination with 4 votes in favor with trustee Torres absent. The motion was made by trustee Pachowski and seconded by trustee Mantooth. At this time, we'll move on to public comments. Are there any public comments? I am waiting for our cards, so I apologize for that. All right, and it appears that we have 2, and we will start with Mr. Logan Hardison.
Good evening and hello again, college trustees, Chancellor McLennan and staff. Thank you for meeting with us at the East Valley in Santa Paula last month. You could tell there's major interest by the community in growing the East Valley program. Acquisition of property for an expanded facility was a major topic. The board discussed the possibility of a future agenda item on a feasibility study. I did not see the minutes with that comment, nor such an item on today's agenda. Studies are where projects go to die. So that's good that we don't have action there. They go to die, especially if neither the value of carrying land and reserves for high value, long-term appreciation better than financial instruments, nor the possibilities of options or agreements with capital sources that would allow the district to purchase or lease selected property at some time in the future, beyond the time of 1,000 FTEs at the East Campus. Needed now is a visionary entrepreneurial leader focused on the East Valley programs, a leader that would have seen to the 2 dual enrollment people on staff last year rather than recruiting for them this year. Dual enrollment, a key district initiative, left to languish for a year. Thus, I suggest that the district seriously consider adding the position and hiring a Ventura College vice president for the future development of the East Campus University Center. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And next we have Stephen, I think it's Peluso, I apologize.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you. My name is Stephen Peluso. I'm an adjunct instructor of English at Ventura College, where I also serve as the sole representative at large for the part-time faculty on the Academic Senate. I also serve as the VP for part-timers with AFD 1828. I'm here. I took those roles for the same reason that I'm here. That's to advocate for myself and my peers, and most importantly, my students. My ask this evening is very much that we move forward with the compressed calendar and we conclude these negotiations. We have a CBA that we can't even begin to look at negotiating while this is pending. And frankly, in the eyes of faculty, we have bigger fish to fry. We don't need to discuss AI. It's here. It's profoundly transformative. It's going to make us all better versions of ourselves. But there are genuine concerns about what that's going to look like in the classroom and questions about reasonable expectations for students. Dual enrollment, Vision 2030 is right around the corner. And there are concerns faculty have about safety involving young adults. There are questions about content in young adults. And don't even get me started on, I don't know how many of us as sophomores in college hung out with 13-year-olds. Pardon. Oh, because there's also the usual issues facing students in classrooms in this post AB 705 world that we live in. Once upon a time, we could joke about college freshmen being 13th graders, because that's literally what they were. We're a couple of years past the pandemic, but if anyone thinks that the students coming to us now are prepared for college, absent meaningful support that was taken away from the very people that need it the most, AB 705, AB 1705, these are serious concerns. And again, not telling anybody here anything they don't already know, of the many districts in California that are on the compressed calendar, there are benefits, increases in student success, retention, longer intersessions, allowing them to take more courses, and the list goes on. So again, I'm just here with the ask. Let's get off the stick. Let's resolve this compressed calendar issue so we can move on to other things other than days of the week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. At this time, hearing those public comments, I will ask board members if you have any additional items to be pulled from the consent agenda. I've already heard from one board member that we are pulling 13.2 and item 13.3. Are there any others? Hearing none, we will add those two items and move on to our next item of business, which is acknowledgement of new employees. Congratulations to the employees listed on this agenda item who were hired or promoted during the period of August 1st through the 31st of 2025. We welcome those that are new to our district and congratulate those that are promoting. Under 4.2, recognition of Ventura County retirees, Ventura Community College retirees. We want to wish the very best and thank for their dedication, both Cheryl Manley and Kristen Romero for their years of service with the Ventura County Community College District. And so with that, we will move to consultations. And before we do that, I do want to read a quick statement about the purpose of these board meetings. The Board of Trustees meeting is the official business of the board. While community input is welcomed and extremely valued, the meeting itself is dedicated to the deliberation and decision-making responsibilities of the board. And so with that, I would ask that you follow the protocols that we've set out related to reports and in an effort to help us be as effective and efficient as we can during this meeting. And so with that, we have in reverse alphabetical order, consultation from Ventura College, followed by Oxnard College, and then Moorpark College. So Ventura, it's all yours. And yes, as a classified Senate, I apologize.
Hello? Oh. Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, members of the Board of Trustees and guests. My name is Oscar Rivera, and I serve as president of Ventura College Classified President. This evening, I will provide a consultation on the following items. 4.1, appointment of personnel. I'm pleased to welcome our new Ventura College colleagues, Vanessa Velasquez and Samuel Martinez. We're excited to have them join our campus community and look forward to their contributions they bring. 6.2, associate students of Ventura College. I would also like to thank our ASVC leadership team for the continued support of our student success and for all the events that they have planned for this month. Thank you.
Good evening, Chancellor, Board of Trustees, and guests. I'm Berenice Rodriguez, the Oxnard College Classified Senate President. So in consultation with 4.1, the acknowledgement of new employees, I would like to congratulate our new faculty, Corinne Hawley and Jenny Wang, on their new roles, and welcome our newest classified professionals, Elba Valareso and Marco Salgado. And in 4.2, recognition of retirees, I would like to congratulate Cheryl Manley on her upcoming retirement. I had the pleasure of working with her briefly, and I do appreciate all the support that she provided. With 13.1, the approval and ratification of personnel. So after 27 years, Deborah Tyson, our Oxnard College's assistant registrar, will be retiring at the end of this calendar year. She's also our Senate's treasurer, and I would like to personally acknowledge the amazing work that she's done for our college. Finally, on 16.1, the fiscal year 26 adoption budget. After review of the budget and DCAS, we are in support of the adoption of the budget. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And last, we have Moorpark College.
Hi there, I'm joining online. I hope everyone can hear me.
Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for letting me join you virtually. For consultation on, oh, and my name is Kristen Robinson, by the way. I'm Moore Park College Classified Senate President. For 4.01, I welcome all new employees to the district, but I would like to especially acknowledge Cassandra Gonzalez, who's a child development assistant at Moore Park College. And in the interest of time, I won't read their names, but I extend my congratulations to the 13 new faculty members who started at Moore Park College last month, several of whom have either transitioned from adjunct faculty with our campus or even from classified roles before accepting their current positions. So congrats to them. Continue with the congratulations. Congrats to Cheryl Manley on her impending retirement, and also special recognition of Chris Romero, Zoo Operations Assistant at Moore Park College. It's been great working with Chris. I hope that she's able to come back to the teaching zoo at Moore Park College as a patron and experience it in a new light, while also seeing the foundation she helped establish continue to grow. And for 16.1 fiscal year 26 budget adoption, thanks for everyone involved in its development and to the personnel who've taken the time to explain it to non-finance people like me. We support its adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. And next we'll move to the Academic Senate President's consultation in alphabetical order. We'll start with Moore Park College, followed by Oxnard, and then Ventura.
Hello, trustees and chancellor and student trustee. In regards to 2.3, Moore Park College faculty are looking forward to the implementation of the compressed calendar to allow a winter session for our students. 4.1, congratulations and welcome to all the new employees in the community colleges of Ventura County. And we're excited to welcome the new faculty, new classified professionals, and new managers to Moore Park College to join in this important work. 4.3, congratulations to the upcoming retirement of Kristen Romero, Zoo Operations Assistant and Moore Park College since 2013. 6.1, I'm going to skip that one. 6.6, we want to acknowledge the hard work reflected in Moore Park College's President's Report identifying goals, data, and strategies that are helping decrease equity gaps. 17.1, we support the Equal Employment Opportunity Annual Certification necessary to receive the EEO funds. And 20.1, I want to thank the student trustee for reminding us all to continue to strengthen inclusivity to ensure every student feels safe, valued, and encouraged to succeed. Thank you.
Oxnard College.
Thank you. Good evening, trustees, student trustee Ayash, Chancellor McLennan, and guest. My consultation is super quick. 2.3, OC Academic Senate supports the compressed calendar. 4.01, I'm very excited to welcome Corinne Hawley to a full-time dental technology position and Jenny Wang as an engineering faculty. Thank you.
Thank you. Ventura College.
All right. 2.3, we Ventura College Academic Senate would like to support the compressed calendar. 4.1, we welcome the 7 tenure track new faculty hires, and 13.1, very excited to welcome the 10 part-time faculty hires and 3 temporary faculty hires, one of which is filling in for my position. So we're very grateful to have their expertise at Ventura College. Still for 13.1, I want to strike a note of concern. The early resignation of faculty member Erica Mullins after 2 years signals a retention issue that impacts student success. I recommend directing administration to review faculty support systems, professional development, mentorship, and work-life balance to protect our hiring investments and ensure program continuity for students. Item 13.5, I recommend approval to establish a student success support specialist position at Ventura College to support the University Transfer Center. And for item 13.6, recommend approval to establish an EOPS counselor position at Ventura College to ensure the program meets Title V mandates for staffing. Thank you.
And thank you. And next, before we introduce the Associated Student Government Presidents for their reports, I want to reiterate my closing comments from last month. And that was that I was so very impressed with the thoughtful reports that we heard from our student leaders. And I'm looking forward to your reports today in random order, starting with Oxnard College, followed by Ventura College, and then Moore Park. I guess you'll be third.
My name is Ariana Villalobos Castillo. I am the Oxnard College Associated Student Government President. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Student Trustee Ayash, Chancellor McLennan, and guests. On behalf of the students of Oxnard College, I appreciate the opportunity to share our perspectives as the board considers today's agenda items. Agenda item 1.31. OCASG recognizes the importance of adopting the district's the district's annual budget and appreciates that it has been made available for public inspection. As students leaders, we want to emphasize that the budget directly impacts critical services such as counseling, financial aid staffing, food pantries, mental health resources, and academic support programs. We urge the board to ensure funding priorities reflect the needs of our diverse student body, especially those who experience financial hardship or basic needs and security. Transparent budget updates and accessible communication to students are also encouraged so we can better understand how district-wide financial decisions shape our educational experience. Agenda item 8.3. OCASG expresses gratitude for the generous donation of a 1992 Pontiac transport van to the Oxnard College Automotive Department. Such contributions directly enhance hands-on learning opportunities for our peers in the automotive program. We commend the donor, Michael V., and recognize that industry-aligned resources like this prepare students for careers by strengthening technical training and real-world application. Agenda item 20.1. I would like to commend the student trustee for their leadership and advocacy in three critical areas: LGBTQ+ community support, food insecurity, and financial aid support. I value the emphasis placed on visibility, inclusivity, and support for LGBTQ+ students across the colleges, the recognition of existing food pantries and campuses, and the concern for financial aid support. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your report. Next, we go to Ventura College.
Is it working? Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Kamea Kellner, and I am the Associate Students of Ventura College President. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Student Trustee Ayash, Chancellor McLennan, and guests. Thank you again for this opportunity to share my student voice and the perspective of the Ventura College students. In consultation with item 8.3 and on behalf of the Ventura College students, we are very appreciative of the donation of $100,829.85 to be used by various Ventura College programs and its grand impact on students. Thank you to Ann King, the Executive Director, and the entire team at the Ventura College Foundation. In consultation with item 13.5 and on behalf of the students of Ventura College, I acknowledge the support geared towards our transfer center. As a community college, a large population of our students are here for the sole purpose of transferring. Given the high demand for this pathway, it is quintessential there is support from the campus. Echoing what is written in the page attached to this agenda item, we are in dire need of support in our transfer center. Yes, from a student themselves, that is correct. Student organizations such as our transfer student organization, which is a club on campus, cannot do this alone, and this position will increase student success by providing us with the necessary support. Item 13.6. On behalf of the students of Ventura College, I acknowledge the increased support towards EOPS students. As an EOPS student myself, I experienced firsthand how booked and busy these counselors are. They are extremely important and have helped me and others tremendously. With an additional counselor, students are able to have much needed increased accessibility to counseling services. Item 20.1. I would like to acknowledge and commend our student trustee Ayash for his report. Thank you for your student voice and representation. That is all. Thank you.
And thank you, Moorpark College.
Hi. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay. My name is Eva Ryan Kourubis. I'm the president for the Associate Students of Moorpark College. A written report was submitted for your review. Thank you for looking that over. There are a couple things that I would like to say regarding agenda item 13.4 and action item 70.1, as well as speak on the closed agenda item 2.3. ASMC consults on 13.4, establishment of office assistant at Moorpark College, and we push for the board to take special note and consideration of the positives on this matter, which prove extensive for both student success and will be well-being, as well as success of student leaders that operate and work under the heading of Moore Park College's student services, such as ASMC. An office assistant would also act as an advisor of sorts for the other student workers to help ASMC and other avenues of assistance to student population on campus. This would safeguard the fulfillment of our student workers and increase excellence factor that MC strives for. This support would free up staff to engage with our students and focus more directly on helping students with their academic and personal needs, while also ensuring students receive faster and more efficient service. ASMC also consults on action item 70.1, equal employer opportunity annual certification form. The information provided on this agenda item in its attached document explicitly states approval of this item will allow the district to complete the certification process necessary to receive the EEO funds. ASMC stands behind this approval of this agenda item. ASMC believes that the approval of this agenda item would be a welcome thread to add to the fabrics of Moore Park College's value statements, and specifically in the areas of integrity and anti-racism, which are two pronounced features that hang atop the crown of Moore Park College's core values. Additionally, the approval of agenda item 70.1 follows suit with the DAC's mission statement, where they express great concern and attention to ensuring organizational excellence, efficiency, effectiveness, and accountability, and continuous quality improvement. ASMC consults on the closed session item 2.3 conference with the labor negotiators, AFT and SEIU, under the assumption that this agenda item pertains to the proposed idea of the compressed calendar. ASMC believes wholeheartedly that additions of winter classes serve the students directly, in that students will be able to finish the requirements for graduation and transfer more quickly, and this could add to our retention rates and make community college that much more palatable for onboarding students. And lastly, if there are any lingering concerns regarding the issue of who pays for winter classes, the student or financial aid, then my question on behalf of Moore Park College's student body and ASMC is this: how can we as a college and a district meet the needs of our students who have financial barriers that rely on Pell Grants and Cal Grant? How can we make the college education accessible for everyone year-round? Thank you.
And thank you for your reports. Again, very thoughtful and very much appreciated. Do you have a comment, Dr. McClellan? You sure? Oh, thank you. Thank you for your consultation. Okay, next we're going to move to our reports. And prior to that, board members have reviewed all reports in advance of the meeting. If necessary, each employee group may be allotted up to 3 minutes to highlight any item of particular interest to the board or answer any questions from board members. So we ask you to help us with that from the standpoint of efficiency and effectiveness. And we'll start with our college-associated student government reports. And Oxnard College, you are listed first.
Hello, there we go. Hi, my name is Ariana Villalobos Castillo, Oxnard College ASG president. And for my September report, okay. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Student Trustee Ayash, Chancellor McLennan, and guests. This is my report for the month of September and the work Oxnard College's Associate Student Government will be doing. We have been doing our efforts in leadership development, student representation, and campus engagement. Current initiatives and activities include student equity plan, participatory governance manual, committee participation, and leadership training. And to follow with events, we have 5 events this month where we'll be hosting a hygiene and wellness drive, a constitution and cupcakes, sweet cakes con paletas, game night event, and blood cancer awareness. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moore Park College. Any report you may have.
Sorry, I speak really fast. I feel like I have a lot to get through, so I'm just like trying to
We
get through it
appreciate
in the
that. Thank you very much.
Yes, okay. So ASMC Advocacy and Civic Engagement, members of the Associated Students of Moore Park College ASMC Board of Directors continue to fulfill its primary job duties of advocacy and civic engagement. We partook in editing and updating changes have been voted on and approved by the ASMC for the 2025-2030 Participatory Governance Handbook, awaiting approval from Academic Senate. ASMC would like to make a special note of edits and changes regarding the idea of a growth mindset, as well as specifics which would render a better understanding of student learning, the addition of Moore Park College's land use acknowledgement, and proposes the implementation of a professional student liaison to shepherd student leaders in within MC standing committees and other avenues of student representation and involvement across Moore Park's campuses. Or Moore Parks campus. 2025-2026 ASMC budget finalization and changes are in progress. ASMC board members are set to vote on approval and finalize budget by September 15th, 2025. And because we have lost the financial additives via the processing and selling of student IDs, ASMC has seen an increase in our student activity fee payment, which has thus increased our revenue. This increase is significant as the additional revenue will allow ASMC to organize more engaging and meaningful events, support trips, and promote student advocacy and further enhance student life at Moore Park College. Our next thing is the emergency grant fund. ASMC voted to approve the allocation of funding to all students regardless of students' choice to do one of the following two things: A, pay the student activity fee, or B, waive the fee altogether. ASMC more than ever is staunch in our efforts to be holistic and attentive to students in need. ASMC is always on the side of the student and believes that no student should be turned away from essential needs or the school's emergency grant fund, regardless of payment to the student rep fee. And number 4, land acknowledgement to be read aloud by the chair at the start of all future ASMC meetings to be enacted September 8th, 2025. We just did that for the first time yesterday. Pretty awesome. 2025-2026 ASMC scholarships are in progress. ASMC met with the wonderful scholarship technician, Christy Rodriguez, and discussed areas of growth for our new scholarship committee and board members to consider when creating new scholarships for our students. There was potential issue with last year's application formatting for this scholarship geared towards students who were either international students or undocumented. ASMC will rectify this matter with placing emphasis on experience via essays versus the stark and discoverable question of, are you undocumented or are you a U.S. citizen? ASMC wishes to pay particular attention to students who are underrepresented. Austin Smith, our Director of Academic Affairs, has expressed his pull towards helping students in the following ways: via ASMC scholarships. 1, women in STEM; 2, students overcoming adversity and challenges; and 3, club volunteer and community outreach. Our standing committee members have been appointed and notified, and upcoming events are the Student Success Fair, which encompasses Club Rush, Guided Pathways, Deciding Day, Constitution, Citizenship, and National Voter Registration Day. Student engagement, campus community, and inclusivity is what the Success Fair is all about, and our drop-in shop, which has to do with sustainability and ICC training. Thank you.
And you certainly made the most of your 3 minutes. Well done. Okay, last but not least, we have Ventura College.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello. Good evening once again to our Board of Trustees, Student Trustee Ayash, Chancellor McLennan, and guests. A quick overview of my report. In alignment with our ASVC goal of increasing our Student Senate for California Community Colleges visibility, we did have a visit by our Regional Affairs Director, Oscar Rivera. We were able to give him a campus tour. And we have officially activated our delegate from Ventura College. We are looking forward to further collaboration with SSCCC. We are also excited to be hosting a Region 6 Summit, and that will be at Ventura College. We're currently exploring dates, but delegates from all the colleges will be coming to Ventura College, and that is quite exciting. Keeping student representation at the forefront of my role, I was able to share the student equity plan to our student leaders actually today at our interclub council meeting. So that's among club leaders and also our ASVC board. We were able to welcome student feedback via registering for the Canvas shell that our staff has so thankfully created. While we do lead many events, I would like to just highlight our very successful football tailgate last week. We had over 150 attendees. We were able to feed students complete meals. We played games, had a great time, and enjoyed the game after. So that's my report. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we do appreciate your reports, students, leaders, as well as your consultation. The board hears that, and we appreciate that. Next, we have a report from AFT. No report. A report from SEIU. No report. And then we'll move to classified Senate president's reports, starting with Ventura College.
Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, members of the Board of Trustees, and guests. I am Oscar Rivera, Classified Senate President at Ventura College. Sorry about my earlier one. You caught me off guard. Since submitting my written report last week, the Classified Senate has been busy planning and participating in several activities. We organized a Classified Senate get-together to cheer on our VC football team this past Friday night, and it was great. Lots of attendance. In addition, the Senate board finalized our September meeting agenda, which will include discussions on committee participation, feedback on the student equity plan, and logistics for our upcoming program review process. As highlighted in our report, we are also looking forward to our first Lunch and Learn event next week, as well as our classified Flex Day session, a conversation with our VC president. Thank you for your time and your continued support of our classified professionals.
And thank you. Oxnard College,
Good evening. No additional report.
thank you so much. And next we have the District Administrative Council. Not present. Moore Park College report, or is she
All right,
on?
I'm back. Yes.
Okay.
Hi. So thank you, everyone, for reading my written report. One thing that I didn't write about that I wanted to recognize is the recent election of Oxnard College Student Life Coordinator and former Oxnard College Classified Senate President, Amparo Medina, as President of the California Community College Classified Senate, known more easily as 4CS. Amparo, for everyone who knows her, has built a reputation as a fierce advocate for both students and classified staff during her more than a decade with OC so far, and having her serve as head of this statewide organization is validation of her knowledge and expertise, as well as of her commitment to classified staff. 4CS is seen as the representative body of all classified employees within the California Community College system. As such, Amparo will have direct access to a wide range of influential people, such as government officials, industry leaders, in turn possibly opening up new opportunities for the Ventura County Community College District. Amparo serving in this capacity also stands to benefit our local classified senates, as she will have an insider's view of the evolving policies and procedures and industry trends, allowing our local senates to be proactive in their planning. And I know Diana Martin is not there, but congratulations to her. She also recently assumed the role of Director of Communications for 4CS. Diana in this role will ensure that classified employees are in the know about statewide conversations impacting us. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with that, we will turn to our Academic Senate President's reports, starting with Moore Park College.
No additional report. Thank you.
And thank you, Oxnard College.
Good evening. My notice is I'm the Executive Senate President. And just a note on the time limitation. I'd like to remind us all that under Title V, Section 53203, it guarantees the Academic Senate the right to meet with or appear before the board. Both options outlined for collegial consultation under Title V require direct communication between the Academic Senate and the governing board. So that is a preamble, because I have a resolution that was passed yesterday unanimously in my Senate. I don't know if I can get through it in 3 minutes. So whereas, the resolution is continued support for undocumented students. Whereas California community colleges educate the largest number of undocumented students in higher education in the United States, many of whom qualify for AB 540, the California DREAM Act, and other state supports that allow them to pursue their academic goals despite ongoing federal uncertainties. Whereas the federal political climate and ongoing debates about immigration reform continue to create fear, stress, and uncertainty for undocumented, mixed status, and non-citizen students, which negatively impacts their academic performance, mental health, and overall well-being. Whereas undocumented students and their families contribute significantly to cultural, social, and economic fabric of California and Ventura County, and their success is essential to meeting the state's workforce, equity, and educational attainment goals. Whereas California law and California community colleges explicitly affirm that undocumented students, including those protected under AB 540, are entitled to pursue higher education in a safe, supportive, and equitable environment, free from discrimination and harassment. Whereas the Academic Senate of Oxnard College, as a participatory governance body, has the responsibility to advocate for policies and practices and campus climates that promote student equity, access, and success for all students, including undocumented and non-citizen students. Resolve that the Academic Senate of California, the Academic Senate of Oxnard College reaffirms its unwavering commitment to supporting undocumented, non-citizen, and mixed status students and their families, recognizing their fundamental right to education and opportunity. Resolve that the Academic Senate of Oxnard College will collaborate with the Oxnard College Dream Resource Center, Student Health Center, and other student services to strengthen outreach, access, and awareness of available resources for undocumented students and their families. Resolve that the Academic Senate of Oxnard College will advocate for the expansion of dedicated professional development opportunities for faculty, classified professionals, and administrators to better understand the needs of undocumented students and to implement practices that promote student success, belonging, and safety. Resolve that the Academic Senate of Oxnard College urges the Ventura County Community College District, the Chancellor of the California Community Colleges, and the Board of Governors to continue to defend, expand, and fund programs and policies that support undocumented students, including legal resources, financial aid access, mental health supports, and pathways to transfer and completion. Resolve that the Academic Senate of Oxnard College will communicate this resolution to the Chancellor of the Ventura County Community College District, the Chancellor of the California Community Colleges, the Board of Governors, and other relevant stakeholders in order to advance equity and inclusion for undocumented and non-citizen students at the local, state, and national levels. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ventura College.
Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, trustees, and student trustee Ayash. I'm Jennifer Garner, Ventura College Academic Senate President, and tonight I am excited to share a success story from Ventura College. At this very moment, our brand new speech language pathology assistant program is holding its first ever class meeting. This achievement reflects exceptional collaboration between our faculty, curriculum team, and Dean, along with successful hiring of a new full-time faculty member with specialized expertise. The community response has been extraordinary. Over 500 people expressed interest in this program, with 160 students now enrolled in the direct SLPA, SLPA, course offerings. This doesn't even include the additional students filling general education classes across all 3 campuses. This program addresses a critical workforce shortage in our region while demonstrating our ability to respond quickly to community needs. Our graduates will enter a high-demand field with excellent career prospects. So we want to thank you for your continued support of faculty-driven courses and programs that strengthen both our students' futures and our community partnerships.
Thank you for that. And with that, we'll turn to our college presidents' reports. If you have anything further to add other than your written reports, we'll start with Ventura College. Obviously got some great news just now, so that's wonderful.
Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, trustees, student trustee. Well, in the spirit of National Hispanic Serving Institution Week, which is this week, and Ventura College Hispanic Institution Week next week, I'd like to highlight that Ventura College has been an HSI institution since 1994. In 1990, we had 21% Hispanic Latino students. By 1994, there were 25%, and today we have 66%. So in the report that you have in your hands, you have the multiple initiatives that have been developed to increase success and completion for Hispanic students. But the great news is that those initiatives are grounded on universal design principles, which aim to design learning environments that are accessible, inclusive, and challenging for every learner. So it's not exclusive to Hispanic students. These services and activities are open to all students, faculty, staff, and administrators. We have over $8 million in HSI grants that have served Ventura College and the East Campus with multiple strategies that you will read in that report. Also, in the spirit of Centennial, I will continue to report, at least mention some of the Centennial celebrations that are taking place on campus or off campus. And I want to thank the Visual Performing Arts Division that held a beautiful celebration a couple weeks ago, celebrating their division, their faculty, the artwork with the unveiling of a mural that shows the history of the college. So it was a beautiful event. And last Saturday we had the Centennial football game that was mentioned earlier. It was a lot of fun. It was a nail biter at the last few minutes. I want to thank Trustee Pichowski for attending. And I learned that Trustee Pichowski really is an expert in football. I learned a lot watching the game with him. It was fun. We won 45-42 to Fullerton College. And I think in a couple of weeks, we'll play Moorpark at Moorpark.
Outstanding.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you so much for that report. Oxnard College.
Good evening, Chancellor McLennan and trustees. I'm proud to announce that Oxnard College was ranked in the top 10 Hispanic serving community colleges by the Washington Monthly College Rankings. These rankings are a socially conscious alternative to the U.S. and News and World Report, focusing on student success, equity, community impact. This achievement underscores the transformative nature of our work and our dedication to serve our students and our community. I want to thank our faculty, classified professionals, and administrators for all their hard work in helping us attain this award, and it's a fitting time and getting this notification. So, and you have our written report. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. And last but not least, Dr. Sakinu.
Good evening, trustees, Chancellor McLennan, student trustee, and guests. Moorpark College is celebrating the September 11 commemoration of September 11 and remembrance of our heroes on September 11th, Thursday at 10 a.m. There will be a gathering by the flagpole. Constitution Day, September the 17th. You heard previously from our associated students, collaboration between our Guided Pathways program, associated students, as well as student services programs to not only celebrate the Constitution, but to integrate it into Discovery Day as well as Club Rush Day, so that there's maximum exposure to the themes and the values of the Constitution. As my colleagues have mentioned, Moorpark College is celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and you will see in our report the list of programs and activities that we at Moorpark College have put together. And kudos to the committee that is responsible for developing those programs during the month of September. I want to call attention to some stats that you will see in the report from the college. We continue to grow the percentage of Hispanic students at our college from 38% 5 years ago to 43% currently. And equally as important for us is the fact that we're closing the equity gaps between our white and Hispanic students, narrowing the gap from 8.1% pre-pandemic in spring 2019 to 5.6% in spring 2025. We know there's still more work to be done, and we are continuing to engage in that work. I also want to say to the faculty, staff, and students of the college who have begun a new semester, and that the excitement of that semester continues to sort of flourish. And so we thank everyone who's involved in that. The California Film Commission has offered Moorpark College an opportunity to have a director of the film Famous, Jody Hill, as well as a post-production member of that production staff, visit with our film students in our FTMA program and talk to them about the practical application of the knowledge that they gather in the classroom in the, as to the work that they intend to do in the industry. This is the second time that that is happening. Last year, the college was also the beneficiary of NCIS production team, as well as directors of that TV show, meeting with our students and providing them guidance on their careers. And so we're very excited about that partnership. Kudos to those who were involved in helping us move from the administration building to the FLIRS, flexible learning rooms, on the other side of campus this past Friday and Saturday. And we also want to thank those particular folks who will help us move the rest of folks in the administration building into the Fountain Hall this coming weekend. Kudos to FTMO, FMO, IT, and to Sean Clifford. Thank you.
Wonderful. Next, we move to 6.7 district office reports. Do we have any department that wishes to provide a report? Any questions for any of our departments from board members? If not, we will move on to board committee reports. Before I do that, thank you all for keeping your reports succinct and on point. It is very much appreciated by, I believe, everyone in the room. Next, board committee reports. I'm going to ask Trustee Chancer to report on the Administrative Services Committee.
Thank you for that opportunity to share.
My pleasure. You got 3 minutes.
Thank you for that. I think our heavy lift in that committee meeting was the budget, and we had numerous questions, and we were able to get those questions answered. And the other items were all passed. I think the only item which will come up later was the consulting contract, I believe. I don't know if that went through admin services or the business service. I don't believe it did, so we'll bring
Mhm.
that for probably a bigger discussion. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I also want to mention that we had a really great report and information about the budget, and really appreciated the support that we had universally for that process and for the outcome of the adoption budget as being presented later this evening. And I also wanted to mention that I appreciated the consultation, if you will, and input related to item on the agenda later this evening, which is 13.3, I believe, the abolishment of a director of physical services and the establishment of associate vice chancellor, which had support from several, not only in the committee, but also other individuals that came and spoke on that item. So that was very much appreciated. Next, we will move to the past committee, Planning Accreditation and Student Success Committee. I'm not sure if that's you, Mr. Mantooth. Well, okay, that makes it easy. See, we're just shaving time right here. All right, with that, we are going to move to the consent calendar. And so I am looking for a board member trustee to make a motion to approve the consent calendar absent items 7.1, 8.2, 8.3, 9.1, 10.1, 10.2, 13.2, and 13.3. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Then we will move to the first item that was pulled from the consent calendar, consent agenda, and that is 7.1, approval of minutes of the August 12th regular board meeting. And I believe that was you, Trustee Chancellor.
Thank you again. And I appreciate the minutes from the special board meeting in particular for the student housing project. But I feel like the minutes didn't quite capture the very clear directive that the full board came with, which was to make sure as we are going to pull funds from reserve, that we're going to make sure that we're proud of this project, that it gets done correctly. And I just that wasn't captured in the minutes. So we're a diverse board, but we had a very unified message there, and I just want to make sure that's in the minutes.
Any discussion related to that request? Okay. All right. So
That I'll move to approve the August 12th regular board meeting minutes. And if we can bring back the August 21st special board meeting minutes, maybe at our next special meeting next week.
Okay.
Okay. So with that,
assuming that there's enough time to make any modifications, I would say the next board meeting would be our special meeting would be great. If not, the following board meeting.
good point.
Do we have a second? Yes, sir.
You want to bring, Josh, you want to bring back the August special meeting from Santa Paula or the June special meeting?
Correct. The June.
Okay. All right. You said August.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay. So we'll amend that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? I apologize. Student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Very good. We'll move on to 8.2. I believe that was pulled by you, Trustee Pachowski.
With 8.2, I really had one question. And this is something that we keep seeing coming up month after month, or frequently enough at least. We keep seeing ongoing coaching services for Albert Solano. And again, I'm trying to understand exactly what we're getting and why our existing staff can't perform these services. And I'd like to know why Ventura is the only campus that seems to be needing consulting services on an ongoing basis.
I would ask that we task our chancellor with either providing us with some responses post this meeting, or if there's some urgency to pass this item now, maybe we could get some answers today.
So, Trustee Pachowski, I guess I should ask Dr. Putnam, did we respond to that question?
I'm looking at the response.
Okay, and I think we posted that in the,
My recollection on the response is that further response will come from Ventura College. That's what I saw.
Dr. Putnam, can you,
That response was actually updated and there is a response available now.
okay, so that, so with that, there is that, but I want to just speak more generally to consulting services. I believe each of the colleges over time have used different consulting services for a variety of reasons. And they're typically, as explained in the case for the Ventura issue that's we're currently talking about, for a level of expertise that we don't hold within the institution, or a deeper dive into an issue. For example, we just spent funds on consulting services to help convene and guide us through the strategic planning work that we did over the last year. I know Moore Park College, Dr. Sokanu, maybe not in this current year, but I believe either last year or the prior year, you had significant funds going into consulting services. We've certainly used consulting services for facility master planning work and other things along that. So it's not an isolated thing to the Ventura College. I don't know, Dr. Laredo Habib, if you want to offer anything beyond what the board's already been provided in terms of this particular issue. But it is a deep dive work into faculty development on a specific topic. So.
Yeah, what I can offer is that these contracts started maybe a couple years ago with AB 705 and AB 1705 supporting faculty in English and math, taking a deeper look at retention rates and developing what is called inquiry and action teams. This kind of coaching is provided because typically faculty teach and they do talk about their curriculum and all that, but we need to help them when they are confronted with like legislative changes that really take a whole different level. So it started that way, but it started as a one-year contract. Momentum was built. And so last year there was an extension for another year. And these are multiple faculty using these services for every month with coaching support, with administrative support. Then the results, the outcomes of this work started to come in, and I shared in my response, success went from 49 to 68%, retention from 86 to 93%. In hybrid instruction, success went from 54 to 76. Writing pedagogy, success went from 78 to 88. So results are great. Faculty asked for an extension. So another contract for another year. In the meantime, when I came in, I had the educational master plan, and seeing that the faculty was comfortable and successful with this level of work, then I included the same kind of services for the educational master plan, totally different project. Parallel to that, communication faculty is asking to have the same level of support. So those are different projects. Some are for 6 months, some are for a year. So what you see today is for 6 months, it's an extension. Faculty are asking for that. We have the funds for AB 705 and AB 1705, so we provide the support. And the outcomes speak for themselves, so we're happy to extend that support.
Okay. Any further questions, Trustee Pachowski? Any other trustees? So do I have a motion regarding item 8.2, ratification of board purchase order report?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All right, motion by Trustee Mantooth and our student trustee was a second. How do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, so now we'll move on to 8.3, acceptance of gifts, fiscal year 25-26. That's you also, trustee. That's you, Chancellor.
It is.
Sorry.
Thank you. I'd like to start with the kind of question that I have with a thank you first. And one of the big items on there was a gift from the foundation to Ventura College. I guess my question is on the ask, is it maybe it's both, but since it's such a large donation, is it the college reaching out to the foundation and saying, we need support in these following areas? Or is it the foundation sort of coming in due to donor support saying we can address or support these following areas? And I guess the background on my question is it goes back to our budget that we're hopefully going to pass tonight, but we have massive amounts of reserves, ending fund balance, and we have resources, we have carryover funds. But these vital departments that are receiving support from the foundation, and I have so much gratitude for the foundation that they are doing this work to support these departments. But I'm just wondering, who's originating the ask there? And do we fulfill our own internal budgets first, and then we're short, and then we say we need support from the foundation? Or is this just the foundation's here to support, we can carry over more funds and continue to ask for the foundation?
And if I may, before I want to make sure that as board members that we're addressing our questions either to the chancellor or to staff directly and not anyone in the public, which I assume you're doing. Just a reminder, I want to make sure that we're not putting a community member on the spot. So Dr. Laredo Habib, do you have anything you want to share?
I'm not sure I will have a complete answer, but I can tell you that we have multiple ways of being approached, or we approach in some instances. Foundation is doing a lot of incredible work with the community. And sometimes we have individuals who approach us with gifts or interests. And sometimes they have very specific interests or areas that they like to support. Sometimes we go with one idea and they want to support a particular program. So not sure if you want to refer to this specific area, but to answer your question broadly, it goes in every direction. We approach community members, they approach us, and I work very closely with the foundation in tandem for any gifts in kind, cash, scholarships, state planning, and so forth.
Okay. Any other items related to this agenda item? Doctor, go ahead.
Chancellor, or Dr. Laredo Habib, I was just kind of curious with respect to the donation to Oxnard College. Is the van being used for transportation, or is it something that students are working on to learn how to fix it? What's the what's the purpose for the van that was donated? That's all.
Dr. Gonzalez, I think that's yours. You said Oxnard College, correct? Dr. Gonzalez. Are you fixing that up, or are you driving it around town?
I don't know all the details, but I would imagine it would be for students to work on. It's in
Okay.
the automotive program that's getting the vehicle.
Look at the vehicle, I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a 1947 Dodge. No, I don't know what it is. All right, very good. Any other items related to the acceptance of gifts? Go ahead.
I can make a motion.
Please do.
I'll make a motion to approve. I believe it was
8.3.
8.3.
Very good. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have 9.1, and I believe that's you, Trustee Pachowski.
Actually, I think the information has been provided on this.
Okay.
Given that we've seen what all the bids were, and that we recommend we go with the lowest bidder and immediately approve.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second with a follow-up question.
Always. Trustee Chancellor has a
Just
second.
the
Go ahead.
Funding source for this. This is not 113. This would be from what funding source?
To count information, but I can get that to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just meant like capital outlay or some of these, if it's restricted or unrestricted.
I don't want to make an assumption.
Correct. Okay.
I will get you the funding source.
Thank
Is that information that the board can be provided at a later date?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. In that case, let's take a vote. Student trustee, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Trustees, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Yep, so you have a motion from Mr. Pachowski, trustee Pachowski, seconded by trustee Chancer. And the motion passed unanimously. Next, we go to 10.1, also trustee Pachowski. That's okay.
While you're getting yourself organized, I just got a message that they're having trouble hearing you online.
That's better.
Is your mic on?
Put on now.
Wait, oh,
About now. No, you turn it.
turn it on and wait a minute and it'll come on. It takes a couple of seconds. There you go.
Can we get
How's
trustee
that now?
Pachowski some training on this, please, for future meetings? Thank you.
Only.
It's all yours.
I just hope it's not a $15,000 contract.
Well,
Let's see, 10.1 is what? That's the,
1-year agreement with Foster Consulting Actuaries Incorporated.
okay. I believe my questions on that were actually answered.
Okay.
So I'll
So,
go ahead and make a motion to approve.
okay, motion to approve 10.1 made by trustee Pachowski, second. By trustee Mantooth. Student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Next, we move to 10.2, 1-year agreement with Cambridge West Partnership to provide consulting service in the areas of business and administrative services. Trustee Pachowski.
Yeah. I was a little bit concerned here because here we have a contract. And actually, for that matter, it was both of these, 10.1 and 10.2. But we were given contracts to approve, and we were a little short on details. I just want to make sure that we're being given the information that we need ahead of time to be able to make the decisions that we need to be making. I did not see, well, it's there now. But I didn't see any kind of a competitive bid on this. And I just want to make sure that we're being given all the information that we need to have ahead of time. That's all.
And I guess the first question would be, did this require a competitive bid?
No, it does not.
Okay. Is that because of the nature of the contract?
Because of the professional services, yes, specialized services.
Okay. And it did come to our attention that the contract wasn't originally when it was first released. And so oversight, we get it. It does.
The scope of work and the hourly fees were in there, but the exact contract itself was not. So we
Okay.
added that to that.
Okay.
With the
We appre-
liability language and all that language.
Yep.
Yeah.
We appreciate the detail. It makes a difference for us up here at the dais. So with that, do I have a motion to pass
So moved.
10.2? So moved by trustee Pachowski. Second?
I'll make a second, but I do have some follow-up questions.
Yes, Mr. Chancellor.
I noticed in the analysis, so I'm trying to understand the purpose of this work. Is it the majority of the bullets, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, the middle ones, I think there's 5 of them. It says technical support or technical assistance. Is this person to train current employees on this type of work, like developing 311 reports, I'm trying to read here on my phone, development of multi-year financial forecast, like this type of work? Is this person to come in and train our current employees how to do this, or?
So a lot of the work that is being outlined in this scope of work is work of our Director of Fiscal, which is a vacant position right now. So I do have different members within the department filling in, and they do need some technical support in that area. So they are going to provide on an hourly basis, answer questions for our audit, answer questions. Portions of some of this report is done by our budget director. Some of it is done by the fiscal director. So it's to bridge those gaps where we have the vacancies right now.
On that vacancy, was this a surprise vacancy, or did we have warning that this individual was leaving and that there would be a gap, or did we have time to fly the position, hire a person so we wouldn't have to then reach out to professional service?
I want to say that the individual that left did give us a 2-week notice, which is what, is
Sure.
standard, but not like we had months of warning to
Okay.
fill that. Yes.
Yeah, and I understand we're dabbling in personnel. I'm just trying to make sure.
That's it.
Yes, you may.
No, I was just going to add that even under the best of circumstances, there's always a gap in terms of the things we need to go through to fill a position and actually get that position staffed and do that successfully. As mentioned, this was a little bit shorter turnaround, but it's what we would normally deal with. In this particular case, we have there's enough transition in the department that both from a training and in a doing the work perspective, it's prudent for the district to do this. So, but I think we're probably looking at January-ish, if everything
Probably
goes
by the time we get someone actually in that seat.
to get
Yeah.
somebody into the seat. So 3 weeks wouldn't have made a difference. A month's notice probably wouldn't have made a difference either.
And so may I ask the consulting services that we're paying for, are we going to be cost neutral with the fact that we don't have an employee that we're paying? More or less?
My assumption is yes, with the
Okay.
savings between I have a few vacancies in the department, unfortunately. I think I have almost 4 vacancies in my department right now, so yeah.
Okay. All right, very good. Well, thank you to your department for continuing to get the work done. And later on, when we talk about this process, it's very impressive work. So with that, I have a motion by trustee Pachowski, a second by trustee Chancer. If I don't have any other questions, I'll call for the question. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Trustees, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Then we will move to 13.2, which is the abolishment of an accounts payable supervision position and establishment of a senior accounts payable technician position at the District Administrative Center. Do I have a motion or actually it was pulled by
Right.
trustee Pachowski.
The reason I wanted to pull this was pretty simple, actually. I want to highlight the fact that on one hand, in 13.2, we're doing something I haven't seen us do before, which is save the district some money. And so I want to commend the staff for looking to reorganize in a manner which can help save us some money. Now, at the same time, I do realize in 13.3, we're essentially reclassifying that money and spending a little bit more. But I do, and let me just get my notes pulled up here. I do appreciate the fact that, Dr. Mitchell has taken, she's still relatively new with us. And I appreciate the fact that she's looked at her department and she's trying to identify efficiencies. And that's the sort of thing, in my opinion, that we need to be encouraging more of. And so on one hand, I don't generally like the idea of creating more vice chancellors of any kind. I do kind of like the overall streamlining of this department in terms of how it's going to be structured when you look at the final org chart. And so I did want to commend the business services team for making those changes that you see there. I think that's, yeah, and I do want to encourage all of our department heads to run leaner and meaner whenever possible. So those were my comments on 13.2 and 13.3.
Very good. Is there a motion there to approve 13.2
So
and
moved.
13.3? Is that what I heard? Okay, 13.2 and 3. Do I have a second? Okay. Any other further discussion? Student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and kudos to you, Dr. Mitchell,
Thank you.
for running a mean, lean fighting machine in your department. All right, so that was 13.2 and 13.3. Thank you all for that. Next is 13.4, the establishment of an office assistant position at Moore Park College. Was that pulled? No, it was not. So I think we're done with the consent calendar
Yeah.
items. Very good. All right, so with that, we will move to board policies. We had no board policies this last month go through either of the committees, and so we'll look forward to some of those. I know that trustee Torres and I are still working on the 2000s committee. And so hopefully we'll have some news on that soon. Action, trustees, chancellor's office, there are no items. And if I'm missing anything, by all means, somebody throw something at me. Next, we have action items,
That's for that.
business and administrative services, adoption budget for all funds of the district. And before I turn it over to the chancellor, I do want to say how much I appreciated this year's process from the standpoint of the special board meeting that we had that I thought was very well organized and very well run and very clear. Your entire team is commended for that. I think the materials provided, very impressive. And I look forward to any questions that may come your way. And again, from my standpoint, I'm feeling very positive about the process and the outcome. And so I'll turn it over to you, Chancellor McLennan.
Those comments, and I appreciate them very much. Thank you, Trustee Lichtel. And I do believe that I want to commend the staff, not only for the presentations, but also for being responsive, both timely and in content to any of the questions or content that have come up, and the willingness to adjust some of the way the information is presented both publicly and to the board. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mitchell to, I don't think we're going to do a full-blown presentation again. We may add, go to some of the things that the board specifically asked for, and then answer any questions or concerns you may have.
And I assume that's okay by all the board members? Okay, wonderful. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Righty, thank you very much. So what's up here in front of us is the agenda, and as the chancellor mentioned, I'm going to briefly touch on the timeline so we know where we are in the budget process. Briefly, just a highlight of any changes from the enacted budget until now, and then into just a few of the fund sources that the board has had questions about, and we'll end with an MYP, and at the very end, a request for an action to approve the budget. So this timeline I've introduced to you guys this year. I started back in March and April bringing it to you to describe step by step where we are in the process, and we are already at the end of the process here in September. So here's where we bring the adopted budget to the trustees, and if it is approved, we take a brief hiatus for about 90 days before we start the process all over again in January. There's a time when the fiscal department is working on 3 years worth of budgets, current, previous, and future. So just briefly, since June, the governor has signed the state budget, which has confirmed our 2.3% COLA for the student-centered funded formula and categorical programs. The system also received a 2.35% or $140 million in enrollment growth, which will be split between last year and this year. Since that time in July, the Chancellor's Office has updated our advance apportionment to reflect those changes, which means that in our apportionments, we will see now the new COLA of 2.3%, but we are also going to see any adjustments or changes in the prior year's enrollment, property tax, or other revenues that may have adjusted between the tentative budget that we presented to you and now it adopted. And Richard Hullum, our budget director, is going to go into that a little bit when we talk about our revenues. If you see any changes between tentative budget and adopted, it's because of those adjustments. The legislature also introduced or actually reduced some of the earlier proposed deferrals. However, we are going to continue to monitor cash flow as that's very important for operations. And in addition, the state has invested some targeted one-time initiatives such as the statewide data platform and credit for prior learning support, as well as some emergency fiscal financial aid relief. Turning to our district budget, revenues have been built around these state actions. We incorporated the 2.3% COLA, included our 1% deficit factor as a safeguard, and we are not assuming any new growth in the funding. On the expenditure side, we accounted for step and column increases, the rising health and welfare cost, I think it's up about 8%, and our retirement contribution rates. And again, Mr. Hullum will go into details on that, but currently we contribute about $8 million max from general fund, and I think it's close to an additional $2 million that we contribute from other sources, including the availability of our trust for that. So that's just a very, very high level synopsis. I'm going to turn it over to our budget director, who is going to dive into those particular funds that we were requested to take a closer look at.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mitchell. Hello, board members. I will try to make it as brief as possible because we have discussed several times. But now I will walk you through the FY26 adoption budget, providing a clear view of our financial planning across all key funds. So let's begin with the high-level snapshot of the district's total FY26 budget, which spans approximately $641.4 million across all funds. What you see is a breakdown that underscores how resources are allocated across operational needs, infrastructure, restricted programs, and strategic investments. The first fund that we'll dig into is our unrestricted general fund, which is the core operating fund. But before we dive into those numbers, we'll touch on some key assumptions that are the foundation of the budget. As previously stated by Vice Chancellor Dr. Mitchell, the FY26 budget is based on state enacted provisions, including COLA and enrollment. And as you can see here, we are showing some of the assumptions that are included and the financial impact of them. I just want to note that STRS has remained the same of 19.1, which is a district expense of $16.3 million. And PERS employer contribution has decreased slightly, 26.8%, 81%, which is the total cost to the district of $17.1 million. So these assumptions reflect both the realities of state funding and the ongoing costs of sustaining our workforce. The next slide is historical salaries and benefit percentages. And this chart provides context of how much our unrestricted general fund is devoted to salaries and benefits. And you'll notice that the percentage trends consistently around 83%, besides 2 years, which were due to temporary one-time funding sources.
Can I jump in on that one?
Yes, certainly.
Okay. On one hand, I see the usefulness of that chart, but at the same time, I think it's obviously it's displaying the aggregate of all salaries. Personally, I'd find it a little bit more useful to not only see it this way, but to also see it broken out historically by categories like management, faculty, and classified, similar to how we see on slide 12, just so we can get an idea of where each of those ranges are in terms of percentages of the whole budget historically.
Okay, yes, thank you. We certainly will take that into account. So this slide that I currently have is a bar graph that illustrates our historical district generated resident FTES. While we have not yet returned to pre-COVID enrollment levels, we continue to see consistent year-over-year growth. In recent years, that growth has been strong, and looking ahead, we anticipate a more gradual trend as we move closer to pre-COVID enrollment levels. The current slide is a breakdown of how we develop our unrestricted general fund revenue projections. And as noted in tentative budget, the foundation of our revenue is the total computation revenue, which is a apportionment that we expect to receive from the state. And we budget that at the stability provision. And as stated in previous slides, we adjust it by our internally applied 1% deficit factor. From there, we add in other revenue sources we anticipate receiving to arrive at the total budgeted revenue of $236.6 million. Compared to the FY25 adoption budget, the FY26 budgeted revenue reflects a $2.7 million increase. And with that, the total budgeted revenue is then distributed through our allocation model. The allocation model ensures resources are distributed equitably among our 3 colleges and central locations. Once the budgeted revenue is dispersed appropriately, if applicable, we will allow the colleges to budget up to 2% of the prior year's unspent budgeted funds. And this brings us to the total allocated expenditures for each college within Fund 111. Now, turning strictly to expenditures, we will first show Fund 111 in its entirety by object code, and this view shows the types of costs we carry as a district. The largest share is, as expected, salaries and benefits, which together account for about 84% of the unrestricted budget. This reflects the fact that we are a people-centered organization. Faculty, classified staff, and administrators are the foundation of student success. Beyond salaries and benefits, we budget for operating expenses and services, supplies and materials, and capital outlay, each a relatively small but still essential portion of our spending. And when we view expenditures by cost center, the picture becomes even more clear. Here you see how resources flow to the colleges and the centrally located cost centers, as majority of the funds are directed to the colleges.
If I can jump in on this one.
Yes.
Looking at this slide, this is the breakout I was referring to a moment ago. I do have one concern here that it does look like Oxnard College does seem to be a little bit top heavy compared to the other two schools. It's basically 50% higher as a percentage of the total budget than both Moore Park and Ventura. And the faculty salaries making up a smaller percentage of the Oxnard College budget than the other two campuses. I understand that Oxnard's got fewer students, but in terms of a percentage of the budget for each school, that doesn't seem quite equitable.
Yes, Dr. McLennan.
So I know there's a good answer to that, but I will also suggest that the size, one of the challenges we have with the multi-college district and the different sizes of the college is that many of the requirements, both from state operations, accreditation accountability, Title IV responsibility, federal government accountability, those administrative functions, while they might be slightly less in terms of the people on a smaller campus, those functions still need to operate at a certain level. So you're going to see those percentages on a small campus get a little bit different than they will be at a larger college, just because of the efficiency of the numbers and the operations.
Okay. Well,
That's largely what's going to account for that.
Makes some sense, yes.
Thank you. Here's just a little bit clearer picture, basically seeing the budget allocated by location on a pie chart. And you can see Moore Park consists of 35%, Oxnard 20%, and Ventura 30%, while the aggregate of the centrally located operations make up roughly 15% of the entire budget. So now that we have touched upon Fund 111, we will go to one of our other unrestricted general funds, which is our designated infrastructure. Established in 2012 to address total cost of ownership, this fund pulls from variable revenue sources like lottery, interest income, and savings to support technology, refreshes, furniture, library material, scheduled maintenance, and equipment. And going into a little bit further detail, breaking it out by college, for FY26, we have $6.5 million in budgeted revenue in total for all the colleges, 12.8 million in budgeted expenditures, and these dollars support the categories that we have displayed in the adoption budget. Importantly, these funds can accumulate year over year, allowing us to plan for larger multi-year projects. This approach ensures that our campuses remain safe, modern, and aligned with accreditation standards. On these slides, this slide and the next slide, we have presented the fund balance, budgeted expenditures, and planned usage of balance for FY26 by college for your review.
And I just want to note that once again, we did not get any scheduled maintenance money in the budget this year. So this infrastructure model is how we are supporting some of those efforts.
Very good. Thank you.
And moving to the last portion of our unrestricted general fund, which is our designated Fund 114, this captures revenue and expenditures for self-supporting programs such as contract education, entrepreneurial activities, initiatives, and civic center activities, as well as funds from other college-initiated activities intended to extend beyond a single fiscal year, and certain board-approved uses of reserves. We have here the budget expenditures and fund balances. And in FY26, revenues are budgeted at 2.3 million, while expenditures are projected at 5.6 million. And the difference reflects the planned investment in programs that extend beyond a single fiscal year, ensuring that we can meet both community needs and institutional priorities. Similar to Fund 113, we have broken out the fund balance, budget expenditures, and planned projects for FY26 for each college. Now that we have spoken about unrestricted general fund and its individual funds, we will speak about the fund balance of unrestricted general fund in its entirety. And in compliance with the board policy 6305, we maintain a general reserve equal to 2 months of expenditures, a contingency reserve of at least $3 million, and designated reserves for one-time needs. These reserves are essential for maintaining fiscal solvency and preparing for unexpected challenges. They also give the district the flexibility to respond strategically to future opportunities. And since tentative, we have received our final apportionment allocation payment for FY24 and have allocated a board-approved $6.4 million to Ventura College to assist with student housing, both of which have affected how much we hold in our unallocated reserves. And if we can take a second, and I may point your attention to the pie chart, you can see of the total unrestricted general fund balance held, 78.8 million are designated components, while only 2.8 million is undesignated reserves. So taking a step back from our unrestricted general funds and now diving into our restricted general funds, Fund 12X includes categorical programs and grants where resources are restricted by law or funding agreements. This covers critical services such as student equity and achievement, strong workforce, EOPS, Promise Grant, Title V grants, and many others, ensuring ongoing support of student success, equity, and workforce development. The fund is broken out into 5 subfunds: state categorical programs, other state grants, federal contract, restricted lottery, and other restricted funds. And I would like to note that within our restricted general fund, we do hold federal grants. And this year for FY26, we have budgeted $10.7 million, which represents only 1.5% of our entire adoption budget.
However, I do want to acknowledge that I know that we have asked, the trustees have asked for a breakdown of all of our federal grants and their purpose and their amount and their years. We are compiling all that information for you. That information does not live in a single place. It is managed at the campuses and through various departments. So gathering all that into a district-wide spreadsheet is taking a little bit of time for us to get that together for you, but we are working on that for you.
Thank you for that.
With respect to the federal grants, what happens if that money goes away?
It's a priority. It's a prioritization at each one of the campuses. It depends on what the work is being, or what the grant is funding. There are some programs that the grants are funding that are a priority for campuses, and they will continue to fund them. And whether that's general fund, whether that's out of some of their contingency that year, they go through their prioritization process at each one of the campuses in order to address those needs as they come up. It just really depends on the grant and what it's funding.
The reason I'm asking is because just last week, there was a complaint filed with the U.S. Department of Education that named every community college in the state of California with respect to a Title IX complaint. And now that all the community colleges in California are on their radar, I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. That's why I'm asking the question. It's a very real question that could go away at any time. So it's something that we need to be prepared for.
Right now, we are monitoring our grants. We don't have information that any of the grants that we currently have received are in jeopardy, but we are continuing to monitor our federal grants. That is an ongoing dialogue with our grants and contracts department.
So looking at our restricted funds by major object code, of the $111 million budgeted, 60.2 is budgeted for personnel, and 21 million budgeted within the other outgo section. Are 7,000 represent the transfer of state categorical programs into the 7-4 financial aid funds. So essentially 81 million of the 111 million represent personnel and transfers to support financial aid. We have presented before you the restricted funds by location, with Moore Park consisting of 31%, Oxnard 30%, and Ventura 35%. Just another way to look at the restricted grant funds. So now that we have spoken about the 1-2s, we will now dive into capital projects. And this fund accounts for the resources that are either restricted or designated for major capital facilities or other capital outlay. Importantly, these projects are not one-time expenses, but part of a long-term plan to maintain and modernize our campuses. They reflect both carryover from prior years and new allocations, ensuring our physical infrastructure keeps pace with instructional and community needs. So we have presented this flow chart during the tentative study session and in the past, but we would like to show you how the funds flow into a capital projects fund. This slide shows the budgeted expenditures and fund balances within the capital projects fund. And for FY26, these sub-funds total approximately 146.3 million. These funds support major construction, renovation, scheduled maintenance, technology refresh, and equipment replacement. Subfunds 411 through 417 are restricted capital projects, while subfunds 419 and 44X are internally designated for capital projects. Now, I would like to note that subfunds 419 follows our facilities master plan, as well as subfunds 44X and 451 follow needs that arise from our program review. Now, these next 3 slides highlight the usage plan of funds within subfund 419, our locally funded projects, and we have organized the projects into 3 categories. The first section, titled FY25-26 projects, are ongoing or new projects continuing from prior years or starting this year. The second section for Moore Park is to the top right, and it's titled Future Years Projects Funded. These are initiatives to be funded using current fund balances that are held at each campus.
In future years.
In future years. And the third section in the red, titled Future Years Projects Unfunded, are outstanding needs that remain on our list but currently lack available capital. And we have this information displayed for all 3 campuses, Moore Park, Oxnard, and VC, to be viewed at your leisure. So we will now move into the multi-year projection, which provides insight into how our budget will perform under various enrollment scenarios, from declines to higher growth. The 4 scenarios that we have developed are a 2% decline year over year in enrollment, no growth, 2% increase in enrollment year over year for dual enrollment as well as credited FTES, and 4% increase year over year. Right now, I currently have our assumptions slide up, and as you can see, assumptions include a COLA that is sourced from the School Services of California and confirmed by the Chancellor's Office, as well as annual health and benefit increases of about 7%. I'd like to also highlight our STRS rate is stable at 19.1, and our PERS rate fluctuates modestly. We have provided a slide that shows you the high-level revenue projections for each scenario and at which TRC that we would be placed in. And then the subsequent 4 slides show the 4 projected scenarios in greater detail for your review, including operating expenditures. These projections show that in FY26, we anticipate a planned operating deficit due to the use of prior year's 2% carryovers. And then in subsequent years, any deficits that we may have will be addressed by cabinet and at the college levels prior to the budget development process. Now, these projections are important as they help anticipate operating surpluses or deficits and guide decisions around reserves, carryover, and responsiveness to enrollment shifts. They provide a critical strategic backdrop as we enter into FY26 and beyond. So we have our decline, our no growth, our 2% increase of growth, and our 4% of higher growth. And this concludes our presentation of the FY26 adopted budget. And I would like to open the floor to any questions you may have.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I really appreciate the scenarios that were presented at the end there, which I think shows some forward thinking, some planning, some proactive thinking, and I do appreciate that from the department. So kudos to your department for that. Board members, do we have any further questions regarding the budget?
Just another excellent presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Thank you, Richard.
Here, here. Yes.
Is there somewhere in the budget booklet that we can see the student, I think it's referenced as student activities fee? Is that, I looked all over the place. I couldn't find.
I think it's
know-
page 74. No, I'm just kidding.
That is a Emily Day with.
I would
something
say
like
that it's in there.
We miss her already.
I would say it's definitely in there. I didn't see it either, but
I will look and I'll be able to send you exactly which page is it on, but I believe we speak about it in one of the initial narratives, the student activity.
Yeah, I was just wondering the actual line items, like this revenue, expenditures, beginning balance, ending fund balance.
Of the student activity fees.
Mhm.
I
does that
we
even
don't-
fold
we don't-
into the
Yeah, we don't.
this
No, we
budget?
don't budget any of the
I don't think
like,
that's
we
even-
don't show any of those agency.
Yeah, that's
funds.
a local budget, isn't it? At each of the sites run
But is it
by,
any different than the health service fees? That's in there.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it would be.
And-
There's staff there that we're paying.
Mention it.
Yeah.
But here's sort of the background.
Yeah.
Is, our ending fund balance, as I mentioned earlier, is roughly $94 million. And I think it was 3 board meetings ago, we had students pleading with us, truly pleading with us to raise their student fees. So they could, in turn, get the services and activities and support that they wanted and needed. And I think it sheds some light or transparency would be helpful to see what that budget is. If it is a self-funded budget, like 114 apparently or kind of is, like just to add what that budget is, and could some general fund dollars that we're carrying over support that in any, we can't even ask that question if we don't know what that budget is. So that's my question.
Could I make a comment, please, Chair?
Yes, of course.
I do want to say, as a student, I actually really am appreciative of you guys for breaking it down much easier for me, especially having this book. I don't really quite understand a lot of the budget when it comes to this, especially when I first started, but little by little, I'm able to understand how financial aid plays upon this and other things. Because we do have a pretty big budget, fortunately. So it's really good to have this book, and you guys really broke down easy for me to understand. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it.
And so is a trustee chancellor's request clear? I think,
Yeah, he's going to respond to that.
oh, please.
So the
Thank you.
student activity fees, those go into the student clubs and agencies, and that's not something that we do. We house that money for them, but we don't budget that within the budget book.
Even though we approve what the student fee rate is,
We collect it,
but we also
The-
approve what the dollar amount is.
And I'm gonna make a mistake here, so I'm just full disclosure up front. The health services fee is think of it as an auxiliary enterprise. It has it is a budgeted function. And that's why you're seeing that way. The student activities fee is generated. It's not supporting an enterprise. It's supporting student activities that students decide, and clubs, and how they're going to fund those things. So it's qualitatively different than funding a bookstore or a residence hall operation.
Let me ask a question a different way. Is there any personnel costs involved in the student activity fees in any way? For example, are those fees supporting a employee of the district to support the student fees or to the student services.
I know I'm trying to lean into our VPs who have a little bit more understanding of the
And
campus
how
part,
about
but where
I
could we get that information
Make
for
the
you?
request
Yeah.
later in a future agenda item to sort of explore student fees a little bit. So it doesn't need to
We'll,
be now.
we'll dive into that, and get that answer to you.
Okay, and I just want to make one other note. Earlier I asked on a consent item for the budget source, and I think it's actually on page 111. It says business office relocation, 660,000. Is that the item that we approved tonight for Ventura College? Okay, yeah, so it's there, and it looks like it came from Fund 419. So that's what I was
Excellent.
curious on.
There you go.
I for me on when I get questions of, hey, what are you guys doing facility or building or, you know, and this comes up in relations with bonds or this or that. What I've noticed over the years of doing this is we have all these different pots of money, whether it's the 4Xs, 12Xs, general fund, 113s. Is there a way, and this is an interest for me, and I don't know if my colleagues on the board share it, but is there a way to sort of get a one pager regardless of the funding source, but just to know, here's the projects for the fiscal year 25, 26, or the next fiscal year. Here's the projects we have happening versus looking at them from these different pots of pie. Because I think the general public, I don't want to disrespect anybody, if they don't really care the funding source, they just want to know project wise, upcoming year, what's happening at the three colleges.
Trustee Chancellor, are you talking about like capital projects?
Yeah, just
I think you've got that here on 3 slides here. You've got Moore Park College on slide 30, Oxnard on 31, and then
I
Ventura
agree,
on
but that's just
32.
from 4X. That doesn't include 12X projects, 113 projects. So for me, it would be helpful to just have a list of projects regardless of the funding source. Because I realize a lot of the projects come from the 4X or a lot of the
But
projects are.
don't all the capital projects come from the 4X?
The majority of them do. There's scheduled maintenance that come out of 113, and we did list those projects as well that are budgeted for this year's expenditures, I believe, on 113 as well. So we did list that for you. The trouble is-
Capital
Yeah.
projects.
Yes.
So, thank you for that question. I want to, this is different information. I think better and fuller information provided this year on exactly that question. It might not be as clean as a one pager for every single thing, but it is sourced in the document to what's coming from where to do what. And that's a level, I heard that the very first year that I was here, when we talked about budget, we took a couple runs at it. I think we're starting to drill in, but I want feedback from the board about, okay, what is it that you need to see to help you make better? It's complicated. These funding sources are complicated. One of the presentations that we had a few years ago talked about how, well, you might have seen it over here on this funding source, and now it's over here because another opportunity presented itself or a more urgent need presented itself. So it should, hopefully it feels a little bit more full in terms of the information. Good.
Super helpful. I don't want that to.
Do we have a comment from Moore Park College?
I think Jen is gonna, I called in, phoned a friend on how the, how student government budget is developed, and I asked her to step up there to explain for us. Is your mic on?
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Good evening. So, thank you. So each year, the ASGs, the student governments, adopt their own budgets for things like the student activity fees, their rep, they have a bunch of different fees. They go through a process, they adopt their own budget, they submit that budget to the administration, the campus or the college administration. So we have a copy of it, and they follow it as they present stuff to us, submit stuff to us through the year. We refer back, we want to go look and see if it's in their budget. We have their budget to verify that. For whatever reason, our district has never included the ASG budgets in our district budget book. I don't know that certainly all don't. I think there are a few that do. It's district to district, but this district has not. Mhm.
Thank you for that. Any other questions from board members? If not, I survived many budget processes and I really appreciate the thoughtfulness that went into this one. And again, going back to our special board meeting that we had and all the information we've gotten along the way. Thank you for the presentation tonight. And so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve fiscal year 26 adoption budget for all funds of the district. Okay, moved by Trustee Mantooth. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Trustee Ayash.
Mhm.
Very good. Any other further questions or comments? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I want to be careful with my words, so I just wrote them down ahead of time, but I'm just going to briefly read a couple.
Always best,
Oh,
Mr. Chancellor. Absolutely.
Thank you, Trustee Lichtel. All right, here we go. I understand the need for financial stability and careful stewardship of taxpayer funds. However, I also want to express my concern that we are holding on to reserves at a level that is more than what is necessary for fiscal prudence. While saving for the future is important, we must remember that our mission is to serve the students of today. I also want to acknowledge, gosh, maybe this is the 6th adopted budget that I've, as one trustee, have been asked to approve. Maybe more, 7.
I think it's your 7th. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Who's counting? But, you know, I remember the first few years going past midnight through this process, and part of it was trying to understand as a trustee, you know, and understand the workings of the budget document. But I would say also an equal part or somewhere in the mix there was a level of transparency and trust. And I think that shows up tonight that it's 8:30, you know, keeping it going. And we flew through that. And it's not that we don't care, but we had admin services. We had a special board meeting. We had a staff that was open for answering questions and sharing with us at a thorough level. So I just want to acknowledge that. And I'm excited to approve this budget. So thank you.
Awesome. We might make history tonight. So I have a motion by Trustee Mantooth and a second by our student trustee, Trustee Pachowski.
As a new trustee, it is slightly trepidatious to be asked to approve a $641 million budget. But that's what we're being asked to approve tonight. At the same time, I think the staff is, like I say, I want to reiterate, the staff has done such an excellent job at explaining it all to us that that the size of that number makes it is what's the overwhelming part, not the fact that that you know the staff has done a fantastic job, and that's the part that makes it very easy. So I want to thank the staff again for all their work on this.
All right. So hearing no other comments, I'll call for the question. Student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, trustees, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We did make history. All opposed? Outstanding. I believe our department deserves
you
a
very much.
round
I
of
do.
applause.
I want to thank the department. This is all of the department, including all of the support we have at the campuses as well, because we do have folks at the campuses that are also working on this diligently. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you for that, Dr. Mitchell. And I think one of the qualities of a true leader is acknowledging others that have done the work behind the scenes. So thank you for doing that. Very much appreciated. Okay, with that, we will move to 16.2, establishment of the 25-26 GAN apportionments limits as required by Article 13B. Do I have a motion to approve 16.2? Any discussion or questions for staff? In that case, student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 16.2 passes 4-0. 16.3, fiscal year end budget transfers between major expenditure classifications and use of fund balance. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Pachowski, a second. By Trustee Chancellor. Any questions, comments, or discussion on this item? Hearing none. Student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Very good. Excellent job, physical services, one last time. Or business services, I apologize. Next, we have action items under human resources, equal employment opportunity annual certification form. I know the trustees have, we've gotten some feedback from many staff members and public, and I know the trustees have reviewed the information. Are there any questions related to this item?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Chair,
Trustee
Chair
Pachowski.
Lickman. I'm a little concerned, looking at 17.1, the 2025 EEO annual certification form. It seems to me, and maybe I'm reading this wrong, but most of that form looks to be blank. Can someone explain why so much of it does not appear to be completed? I mean, I'm looking here just as an example at page 3, and there seem to be several questions on there. None of which are checked, none of the boxes of which are checked.
Are they ones that don't apply to the baseball program?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking.
What page are you on?
Page 4. Starts with section B, collection and analysis.
Yeah, you know what? It's not showing up online, but in the printed document, is this what we're looking at?
Yeah, there's none of that date is there.
Yeah, it didn't show up. That's lost in translation there.
Let me try refreshing.
Try refreshing, yeah.
I believe it's a portable issue. If you click the document, there's a view and annotate. So switch the button to annotate and you could see all the wordings on the document.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, wait a minute. How do you know that as as our student trustee? I'm impressed. My goodness, you're hired.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Put the ONOFF switch in the ON position.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. All right, Trustee Pachowski, any further questions related to that item?
Given that I'm just looking at this now,
Yeah.
is there any kind, what's the timeline on this for approval?
Is there a deadline? Yes.
Was September 1st. We got an extension. Many colleges got an extension just because of it's usually September 30th. So we did submit it pending board approval.
Wait, December 30th?
Until September 30th.
Okay.
Mhm.
Could this be added to our special board meeting next week? No, that's right. We may not.
Right, we may not.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess this would compel us to have a special board meeting before September 30th. And I think that it's fair, Trustee Pachowski, if you're not comfortable.
Well, I mean, like I say, well, the big question I have about this, aside from the fact that the data didn't appear to be there, where exactly is this money coming from? The EEO money? Is that coming from the state of California? Is that coming from the federal government? What's
It
the
comes
source?
from the state of California,
Okay.
their Title V funds.
And so are they getting that from the federal government under Title V, or is that is it basically passing through the community colleges?
I don't know.
You don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't believe it. We can check. I don't have any knowledge that would tell me it's coming from the federal government. These are state allocated funds. Usually if it's coming through another source, it comes through in a block grant form or some other way as a designated, it's designated that way. And it would also come with all the federal disclaimers and sign-offs and assurances and all that as well. And we don't have those with these. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Chair Lichtel?
Yes, sir. Trustee
Just
Manson.
a question. I may not be accurate in this, but once this form is submitted, doesn't it get returned to us by the state with any comments they might have? So there's kind of a second bite of the apple on this, maybe to lower anyone's uncertainty or anxiety level about getting this submitted.
Trustee Mantooth, you're thinking of the EEO plan. So just to give a little, this certification form is a report out on where we are with our 3-year EEO plan. Our 3-year EEO plan is 2024 to 2027. And so what the state requires us to do is to report out on where we are on various things that are contained in the EEO plan. So we'll have to submit this year, next year, but next year you will also see a new EEO plan that comes, and that's the one that we submit, and then we get feedback back from the state. This is just us reporting out on what we've done in the last year.
And as I mentioned, I thought I could have been confused, and clearly I was. Thank you.
How much EEO money do we get?
Last year, the grant was about $138,000.
Say 138,000.
Yeah, that's what it was last year. It
And what-
depends. Each year, it might be a little
What
different.
programs are attached to this?
It's
grant?
all of our EEO program. So it's really, everything needs to be related to equal employment opportunity. So we use it for recruiting, we use it for advertising, training, a lot of training.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'll ask for a motion from any board member.
I'll make a motion.
Second by trustee Chancellor. Any further questions or comments?
Frankly, I think the way I read the California Constitution, I think that these funds are illegal. So I'm going to be voting no.
Okay. Do we have any feedback from staff related to any concerns that might have been brought up by trustee Pachowski that may help us in this light? Okay, then I'll call for the question. Student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote, starting with trustee Chancellor. Trustee Mantooth. Trustee Pachowski.
Nay.
And I will abstain. And so I believe the motion passes 2-1.
Yes.
I will, okay. Okay. I understand trustee Pachowski's concern, not having enough information. I also know that we have, passed this and done this procedurally for the last several years, probably more than that. So this is more procedural, would you say, Mr. Mantooth?
Is Mr. Sanchez still here?
I do not believe so.
No, he had to take another call. But I do want to just, aside from the concerns that you mentioned, trustee Pachowski, I want to just reassert that this is a report on work already done. It's not an application for new funding. It's a condition of the funds we've already received. Nothing is going to change in the report itself with the delay. The report is the report. So, if that makes it easier to approve this so that we can meet the deadline without any.
So this is a criteria mandate.
It's a mandate
Of
as part
expending the
part of
funds,
our receipt of the
reporting
plan
back.
and report back. So what staff have done is they've put together this report to meet
Okay.
that compliance requirement. It's not applying for funds. It's not talking about how we're going to use the funds. It's essentially saying, related to the plan that was approved, this is what's happened. So it's a descriptive report.
Okay. All right. With that, trustee Pachowski, would you like to reconsider your vote?
Problem I have with this is that neither the state of California nor any political subdivisions shall discriminate against or grant preferential treatment on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin. And that's exactly what this report is doing. So no, I'm not going to change my vote to a yes on this.
Okay. Then we're deadlocked. So we need a ruling on on a 2-1 vote with an abstention. I am not wanting to, I won't vote no, but I agree that there's some concerns and some lack of information. And therefore, the abstention.
And what's the impact of this not approving? Because I understand your abstention, but it
As far,
basically is a no. So I guess my question is.
well, but I think an abstention goes with the prevailing vote, which would be the yeses.
We can maybe set this aside for a moment. We'll have our legal counsel tell us.
Okay. So let's table this for the moment, and we will come back to item 17.1. We have no items from institutional effectiveness. Chancellor's report.
Thank you. I'll, well, I don't know, maybe I need to not keep it brief if we're waiting for an answer.
Well, you keep it brief. We've got other reports.
Got other reports.
Feel free.
No. Just a couple items, and some of these are related in some way. On August 22nd, held the Chancellor's Strategic Advisory Council report. It was held at Ventura College. Thank you for including that in your president's report, by the way. I thought that was very nice. Good turnout. The interest of the group, or the purpose of that meeting, was to close the loop on that group's role in the strategic planning work with CCVC 2035. Lots of good feedback about both the process and their engagement in it. In the context of that, there was an update on climate and concerns in terms of what's going on nationally, certainly statewide, and how it's impacting us particularly. And we did discuss some concerns around federal support for specific programs that support our students who need that support, as well as Title IV aid and some of the proposed changes or actual changes that are going to happen with Title IV aid in terms of loan amounts and timelines for students. That's going to significantly reduce the amount of support that students are going to have to pursue higher education. And it was a good discussion. I want to thank Trustee Lichtel for joining us. It was a good conversation. And I also had the opportunity to attend the Ventura Unified School District, City of Ventura, Ventura College meeting with Trustee Chancellor and Ventura College staff. Another good discussion, some of the same content conversation around implications of federal changes around Department of Education and certainly funding with grant programs and Title IV aid. And then I had the opportunity to participate in a panel discussion through the West Ventura County Business Alliance. It was a panel of educational leaders. I think there were 5 of us on the stage. Trustee Chancellor and Trustee Pachowski were both there. There's a number of people from the district and the colleges at the table directly in front of my microphone, looking up at us as we were making our presentations, not intimidated at all. But again, the same kind of conversation. And what was really interesting about that event was the consistency of both concerns and content across all segments of education and how it's going to impact Ventura County. So those 3 things were kind of connected in that way, but a good opportunity for us to be out in the community and engage with our stakeholders. We held a cabinet retreat a few weeks ago, and I mentioned that both with that retreat and then a follow-up meeting with our extended cabinet, which includes the administrative leadership teams from the colleges, to talk about next steps with CCVC 2035, which was also part of the Chancellor's Advisory Council presentation, in terms of going from the product that we've created to the actual implementation, the alignment, the integration, and the work of connecting with college planning. A big theme of that, those presentations and the work coming out of that was the acknowledgement that the work of CCVC 2035 started with the colleges. It was engaged with the colleges, and the colleges are now going to be working through this next year in terms of incorporating that work into their own planning activities. Just an update on AB 90. I don't know if we've sent this out to the board yet, but AB 90 was the parking lot housing bill. It did not make it out of conference, so that will not be being put into law, at least not this year. And I did want to just touch base briefly on the Santa Paula board meeting. I want to thank everybody for their engagement and participation in that presentation. A lot of hours on part of staff went into that. I've received quite a bit of feedback from community members in Santa Paula on the content of that presentation and appreciation for the same. So, and thank you to the board for engaging with the community that way. So lots of work to do still there. And then lastly, I will say, just add that on a fun note, I've been invited to coach the women's basketball team, alumni team at Ventura College, as they line up to compete against their daughters in an alumni match on October 4th. Very happy to do that. The only advice I'm giving is through hockey coaching, and that's elbows up. But we'll see how the moms do. It was really thrilling to be a part of that. I'm looking forward to it. That concludes my report.
All right, heaven help those parents. All right, with that, I did want to, Joe, could you pull that up for me again? I did want to say that, I apologize, Chancellor, but during that, going back to our previous item, I do see here information that I think is pertinent. The California Code of Regulations, Title V, Section 53024.2 sets forth the categories of information that must be reported as part of the annual certification, which is this report. District shall certify annually to the Chancellor, State Chancellor, that they have timely complied with all of the following recorded and reviewed and reported data required, so on and so forth, reviewed and updated as needed, strategies component, the strategies component of the district's EEO plan, which I assume we've done in this report, investigated and appropriately responded to formal harassment or discrimination complaints filed pursuant to code sections, and then expended the equal employment opportunity funds in accordance with the purposes. And so I assume that the submission of this report tells us that we have complied with those 4 items. And then so seeing that this is a mandated report of compliance with funds already received and mostly, if not entirely expended, I will change my vote to a yes. And so with that, we will move to trustee reports, and we will start with our student trustee.
Thank you. I wanted to keep it a brief report. I first want to say it's quite funny actually. Since the first time I started back in June, I didn't really understand and quite know how much how much work it was going to be. But I'm really glad that I took on this opportunity. 10 years ago, I would have never imagined me speaking for specifically 3 colleges. I would assume over 40,000 students, and be able to have this platform to be able to speak on things that not only do I support, but that students want. And I think the reason why we're always all here every month is to talk about what the students want. And if I'm not mistaken, Chair Lichtel, I remember you always talked about the why. Why are all these reports? Why is this so necessary for us to talk about? And just to keep it brief, the reason why I always speak about the food insecurity, the LGBTQ community, and the financial aid support is because these are the 3, in my opinion, the most essential things that students really want. They want to feel welcome. They want to feel heard. They want to feel that they don't have to struggle in with financial debt. And that's why when our schools are rated typically the top 25, if I'm not mistaken. But for 3 of the community colleges in California, that is quite impressive. And I think just it's important to keep speaking on these issues. And I'm really glad that I'm not the only one that feels this way. And I'm really glad to be around people like everyone here that feels what I feel about those issues.
Moving down to the student trustee workshop in August, I will say that was an amazing experience. Honestly thanks so much to Michelle and Lisa. They have helped me out through the whole process and kind of gave me step by step on what to avoid and what to do. And when I went to the workshop, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hesitant at first and nervous because, you know, I didn't really know much about how student trustee really works. And to see different types of student trustees all around California and see different types of walks of life, like I really assumed that, falsely assumed that it's all going to be students of like my age, but it was really nice to see undocumented student trustees, mothers and fathers who are also student trustees. And it shows that community college is really all about allowing anyone to feel welcome, to feel heard. And I'm looking forward to the next I guess I would say conference or anything I'm able to attend. I'm just really grateful for you guys allowing me to have the budget I'm allowed to have and to it was such a welcoming environment. I really felt glad. I honestly now I have friends all around the region of California 1 through 10, which is awesome. And lastly, I probably will be also there's student trustee caucus and I will probably be running for that too. So hopefully I am the chair of Student Trustee Caucus. But that's all for my report, and thank you guys so much.
Okay, and good luck with that, the election. We'll go to Trustee Pachowski.
Okay, so on August 14th, I was happy to help represent the district. Am I on? At the
You gotta love the mic.
yeah.
You gotta swallow that thing.
I was happy to represent the district at the West Ventura County Business Alliance luncheon where the chancellor was speaking. The next day on August 15th, I was at the Moore Park Chamber breakfast, letting them know what's going on with the district. On Wednesday, August 20th, with Vice Chair Lichtel, I was at the Ventura County Taxpayers Association breakfast at the airport, speaking to some folks from the airport. They had glowing things to say about the way that the district is partnering with them. They specifically referenced Dr. Herrera. Thursday, the 21st, we obviously had our special board meeting in Santa Paula. Wednesday, the 27th, the Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce had their legislative affairs meeting. Thursday, August 28th, I met with Teresa Bonham, the president of the AFT. Tuesday, September 2nd, I was at the Simi Valley Moore Park City Club meeting, updating them on what's going on with the district. The next day, I was at on Wednesday, September 3rd, I was at the Moore Park Chamber of Government Affairs meeting, where I was very happy to learn that AB 90, the bill which would have required community colleges to offer overnight parking and was opposed by many of the districts throughout the state, including our own. Chancellor McLennan had I think written a letter of opposition, if I'm not mistaken, on that. The bill is dead, so that's a good thing. 9/4, I participated in my first meeting for the Community College League of California ACES committee via Zoom. On Saturday, I've got props. On Saturday, I was happy to attend the 100th anniversary football game at Ventura College, where I got my little towel. And I heard rumors. I don't know, Dr. Sokina, you'll have to confirm this. I heard rumors that there may be a bet in the works that the school that loses the Citrus Cup game in a couple of weeks, the president may have to wear the other school's colors at the next meeting of the board. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but orange is always on sale. So just remember that.
And then finally yesterday, I was pleased to finally be able to go down and get my official tour over at Oxnard College. Dr. Gonzalez and his staff did a wonderful job taking me around the campus and letting me learn about some of the wonderful programs that they've got there. I really appreciated hearing about the culinary program. and seeing some of the buildings that where we got to point out some things that where there's work coming up that we've already approved. So I was glad to see all of that stuff going on. So I want to thank you and your staff, including Mara Mulch. I don't know if she's still here, but everybody that was there. There was a whole entourage in tow, and that concludes my report.
Excellent. Thank you, Trustee Pachowski. Trustee Mantooth.
Evening, not so much a report, but just a sharing out, if I might. Thinking about how uncertain times seem to be nowadays. I've engaged in a couple of conversations recently, within the last week, in fact, about the safety, how safe our students and our staff might feel in certain situations. And the specific question was, we have remote campuses, for example, where an ESL class might be taught. We have coursework after hours on our main campuses where administration may or may not be present. And the question is, if Immigration and Customs Enforcement shows up, what do we do? Do the individuals that have our students in their charge know or have some kind of protocols or guidance? And does that guidance sync with some of the guidance that, for example, our SEIU or AFT may be, posting, through their own media? So I think it's, I hadn't never given that a lot of consideration. And, something that goes along with it, and I think I've heard this many times from employees, will I be protected by the district if something like this happens? Well, the stock answer is, if you're working within the scope and course of your employment, yes, ordinarily. But I think it would be important to, if there is a void in that particular area in these uncertain times, that we reinforce appropriate protocols so that our people can be reassured.
Thank you for that, Trustee Mantooth. And I think that came up at the last meeting, maybe towards the end. And we were assured that there are plans in place, and staff does have information. And I think it's just a great idea to reiterate that so that we're definitely all on the same page. Trustee Chancellor.
I'll keep my report very brief. I just want to piggyback on our chancellor's attendance in the Ventura Unified, Ventura City, and Ventura College meeting. It's great to have the chancellor be. This is a first, because in the past the chancellor didn't attend, but previous chancellors. This chancellor has
been before.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And I'm glad he's part of the team on that, and we were able to work through partnerships and other things. One of the topics that came up from a direct ask from a trustee at Ventura Unified was, what's the status or consideration of Ventura College counselors actually having a residency or a day a week or some shape or form at the high schools themselves to best onboard and serve students. I already mentioned the student activity fee. One of the things that has come up that has been brought to my attention, and I think it's a unique case, but it highlights, I know Moore Park College has had a lot of success with text messaging back and forth to students. It was highlighted, I think even in the Aspen Award. When student schedules are changed sort of last minute, and that's going to directly impact whether it's the start date, end date, start time, end time. Are we utilizing text messaging to best reach our students in that case? So that's something that's been brought to my attention. And one more slight maybe recommendation. I'm still struggling with Boardable, both in seeing things. I know. So I know we approved the contract, and I'm just hoping as the year winds down on the Boardable contract, things can be improved. If not, we can quickly start looking at other options. And it's just a huge thank you for all the work that came into tonight's meeting and to get us through in a good place. And to Vice Chair Lichtel, thank you for stepping up And I hope everything's okay with Chair Torres. But thank you for your leadership.
As we
tonight.
all do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
of course. But thank you for your leadership tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I was going to mention that last, but I'll mention that now. Trustee Torres took ill. We don't have a lot of information, but in my family, we pray. So if that's what you do in your family, take a moment to remember her. And if not, send her a card or acknowledgement, anything that might lift her spirits. Again, we don't have a lot of information, but we certainly hope and pray that she is doing well. So thank you for that, Trustee Chancellor. I did attend the Strategic Planning Committee meeting. Is that what that was over at Ventura College? Did I get that name right? I know it was
It was the Chancellor's.
Chancellor Strategic Advisory Council meeting. And it was amazing, very informative, well-attended, a lot of engagement, and a lot of positive vibe and speak related to what's happening at the district, and specifically our chancellor's leadership with that group in really laying out a foundation and a future vision for our district. So I really appreciated being asked to attend and was very happy to be there. With Trustee Pachowski, I was at the Ventura County Taxpayers Association when we learned a lot about our airport system, and we did get a lot of kudos for our district, specifically Dr. Herrera and Dr. McLennan. Related to the work and the cooperation that's happening there, and related to workforce development and programs that we're developing that connect to the airport system. So that is very exciting to hear. I thought the Santa Clara River Valley meeting was absolutely excellent from the standpoint of moving forward from a previous place to a new place of understanding and what it's going to take to get us to the next steps. I don't think it's insurmountable, but at the same time, I think we've got a really, really long and high road to climb. But I think together we can make that happen. I thought the meeting was mostly very positive, extremely positive, actually. And again, I thought we really came together with some understanding. I appreciated meeting at the facility. In our closed session meeting. Yes, thank you. Our center, our East Campus Center. I think it's a great facility. It seems to be meeting our needs now. I'm happy that we're putting more money in there and growing that program. On the way out of our meeting, I met a gentleman whose name I believe was Ignacio, and he and I had a quick conversation. He's an English as a second language learner, and so I was able to utilize my Spanish there and really make a connection with him. And he was so grateful for that program. And I think that really validates the work that we're doing there and our future work as well. So kudos to everyone who participated in that meeting, including our staff and our board. And the last piece is, the item of time came up more than once today. And, I'm one that if our meeting goes till 2 a.m, I'm okay with that. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue when we're ineffective and inefficient. And I really felt that today, with a little bit of additional thought in the fact that we are here to conduct business of the board, real important business, that I think collectively we did a great job of moving the meeting forward and really staying on point and being really effective and efficient. And so I really did appreciate that. And before I adjourn the meeting at approximately 9:12, I will ask if there are any requests for future items from any board members. Trustee Chancellor? Student fees.
And
So
then-
if we get a report on that or information back would do.
And then I think late this afternoon, we got an update on the student housing.
We did.
And I would just ask that comes as an informational item on the agenda at a board meeting, because constituents are very eager and interested to know what that's going to look like.
Absolutely. Any other items for future board meetings or reports from any board members? With that, I will adjourn at 9:11.
I think the earth just spun off its axis.
Well, just a little bit of pleading.
It can be done.